SMTN.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network Link 355. I'm your host, Spencer Presley, and joining me is someone who is almost twice the age of the Game Awards, Liam.
Oh, man.
How is it going?
Good up until you said that. Now I feel old.
I mean, if you were younger than the Game Awards, would you feel like worse? I feel like wouldn't you want to be older than the Game Awards?
Well, I just don't like to feel my age at all.
That's true.
So, anyway, how's it going?
It's good. It's been busy. As we were kind of talking about a little bit, it's like this 2024, man, it's the year that just won't stop with either games or things to do about games. It's just like, when has there been a slow season this year for us to just kind of like catch our breath, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like it.
So, yeah, we've got an interesting episode ahead of us of talking about kind of our year-end wrap-up because we're not cool enough for Spotify Wrapped. I don't know, maybe your Spotify Wrapped is cooler than mine. Mine was like the least surprising Spotify Wrapped of my entire life.
I can pull up my Spotify Wrapped.
But like, we've got some interesting game stuff to talk about. Atlus was in the news, not for actual news, but for winning some awards. So we'll be talking about the 2024 Game Awards, not our Game Awards, not the Atlus Awards, not our personal Game of the Year awards, but we'll be talking about what everyone just colloquially calls the Game Awards. Liam, though, I gotta ask, just because kind of where we're at, we're recording this on December 14th. If someone came up to you and was like, what is your game of the year? Do you think you know what the answer is? Because like I'm still I'm pretty sure it's still. Oh fuck, I don't know. It's weird because like I've got a couple of like things I'm juggling right now. Because like a month ago I would have been like, yeah, it's still Rebirth, but like I'm not sure yet.
No, I have mine pretty firmly locked in.
Okay, and why is your answer City Bus Driving Simulator 2025? What is it about that game that locked it in for you?
Actually, it was Honey Pop.
No, Honey Pop 1, not 2?
2 is okay. 1 is peak though.
There was at least one episode where I had to use art. I used art from Honey Pop 2, and I was like, what is the most offensive piece of art I can use from Honey Pop that I could still put on a YouTube thumbnail without getting demonetized?
And what'd you come up with?
I'll have to remember. It was like a collage picture. I'll have to like try and find it out with it. But man, Honey Pop takes me back. Are we getting a third one of those? What's the Honey Pop update?
I know, it's literally Honey Pop was the first game that popped in my mind because I was trying to think of a joke. I was like, all right, that's like Honey Pop.
That's like
you put me on the spot.
I'm trying to think. Like that's like it's like what does this say about you in like a Freudian way? Like what what does it say? Like how quickly your brain goes from like 0 to Honey Pop?
What? Yeah. I could have said anything. I could have said Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
I know, but I mean, you also have Honey Pop though.
I've actually never played Honey Pop, but don't tell anyone. Edit that out.
Sorry, everybody. We need to keep the allure of everyone out there, so that way they know you're a true gaming gooner. So Honey Pop aside, though, yes, we've had a lot of game stuff going on, and not a lot of news, but some definitely interesting Atlus stuff with the Game Awards. But I thought
Mm-hmm.
kind of a fun little icebreaker for the show would be, let's go over gaming wrapped. So I primarily play, especially this year. I played a ton of Switch last year, but like I know Nintendo does one normally after the end of the year. I'd be kind of curious because I feel like I played maybe like 2 or 3 games a lot on my Switch, but not like a ton.
Right.
Versus like I probably played like at least 10 or more games over like 50 to 70 hours this year, out of all the games that I kind of played. So PlayStation did their Wrapped. Xbox did it like the week before.
Yeah.
Liam, would you say like you primarily play? What do you play on your? Do you have a Series X?
Series S.
Yeah. So like, has that kind of been like your daily driver, just like with Game Pass or other stuff?
Oh, oh yeah. It's not only my main gaming machine, it's also my main YouTube machine, Netflix machine. Basically, it's basically my entire entertainment center.
I don't know if we talked about this when you were on the show last time, but like, what is it? Because I have an X, and I really really like the Series X as well. I haven't messed around with the Series S too much. How long have you had it? Like, what have you kind of enjoyed about it? Has there been any games or moments where you've been like, damn man, I should have saved up for the X or whatever? Because like there haven't really been too many things that were like really held back on the S.
So the funny story about that is that I actually had an X, but I sold it and got an S instead. And the story behind that is because this was when I was still in college and I was still going back and forth. I would spend college here in the States and then go back to France for like summer vacation, Christmas vacation, whatever. And since like I said, the Xbox is basically my main everything, hauling an X in my suitcase every time was just too much of a pain.
It's heavy
So
too. That
it
system's
is
a chunker.
oh it's it was huge. So even like out of the box and everything, I would just put it in rapid with like clothes and stuff, but it was still like kind of annoying. And what I liked about the S was that it basically it basically had everything I needed. I mean, I had like other means of like playing discs. I mean, I didn't care about like playing disc related games. Oh, I'm one of those. It's like digital. Ugh. Uh, but just the fact that it was smaller, I could just easily like put it in my suitcase. I mean, I could probably even put it in my carry-on. Not that I ever would. But it was just a matter of convenience, honestly. But
Okay.
yeah, but the S I've had, let's see, because I got my X, that would have been like late 2020. And then I think the S I got actually I think I got the S like about a year later. I sold my X to a my I sold my X. That sounds like a country song. I sold my X in
Listen,
Texas.
she had it coming. The X had it coming.
But yeah, I sold it to a college buddy of mine, and I used that money to get an S. And yeah, I just haven't looked back since.
Okay. Do you still have any of your like physical Xbox games just out of like sentimental value or
I
like
I didn't have any I didn't get any games physical games when I had the X, and all my physical games from like my 360 days and my Xbox One days, they're back in France, which I still have a ton. Like, well, not like a huge collection exactly, but like a decent amount, I'd say.
that's really really cool with it, especially just because the funny thing with the Series S is like I know it can kind of get a bad rap, especially from like some people online for it, but it's like outside of the price point with it, like I haven't known anyone who has it who's kind of been unhappy with it because like especially if it's just one of those ones of like, hey man, if you just kind of even if like you do buy your games or you don't buy your games, like even just as a Game Pass machine, it's pretty fun just to set it and forget it.
Oh yeah. Also, as an emulation powerhouse, I
That's
haven't been
true,
able to mess around with that,
and
but
it's
it's like,
super easy too, because like you literally can just like download a bunch of emulators on there.
yeah, you can easily like put it in like developer mode too for literally
Oh,
just like
that
20
is
bucks.
yeah, no. Microsoft definitely like they did a really good job with the systems, which is funny mostly in the thing of like I feel like most people who have these systems either don't know about it or just like don't even care. So it's always really funny to me because it's like people are just like, yeah, like I never mess around with that or whatever with it. But I think there's a lot of like I've built up a lot of backlog for my Xbox. Like I need to get back to it. I still
Oh,
need to
same.
finish my Halo marathon and another one I'm going to do with a friend next year. Um, I still can't believe I've never played or beaten a single Gears game. I played
I
Horde
haven't
mode
either.
back in the day, but I'm really excited for E-Day, and I'm like, dude, I should just do like a Gears marathon because I own them all because they were really really cheap to pick up, and even I'm excited about like the spin-off, not Gears Pop, not playing that, but like Gears Tactics. Like I've heard from people like that's like just genuinely a great tactics RPG.
Hey, if you want to go through Gears campaigns co-op, let me know.
I think I know you can do them all 2 player. I think you can also do some of them 4 player, right?
Um,
Or is it only 2 player?
I'm pretty sure it's only 2 player.
I'll have to double check. But either way, I will definitely take you up on that because
Maybe
I've done
4
that with
is.
friends for Halo, and Halo is great by yourself, but Halo co-op campaign, especially like split screen, is super super fun.
I'm actually not really a Halo guy. The only Halo campaign I've beaten is Combat Evolved.
Oh really? I'm surprised
Yeah,
it's the only one.
yeah, that's the only one. I mean, I've played them all like bits and pieces, but the only like campaign I've like finished from a story like perspective is the first one, and
I
I
will
didn't really love
say
it.
because I've only beaten 1 through 3. I will say at the very least, if you enjoyed 1, 2 is very interesting in the sense of like that it works and
hmm
the fact that it was apparently like a complete shit show to make. Like, have you heard like the thing that happened for it during development?
Um, I mean, maybe.
They basically had to scrap the entire game about 9 months before it shipped, and they remade an entire game.
Oh, yeah, I heard rumblings about that. I didn't really know the whole story.
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten in too much with it. By the way, because God bless Reddit, I did find out about Gears. So tell me where this makes sense.
Okay.
Gears 1 and 2, 2 player co-op. Gears 3 and Judgment, 4 player co-op, and then Gears 4
Ah,
and 5, 2 player co-op.
well, I mean, I know in 3 and what did you say? 3 and Judgment were 4 player.
Hmm.
Well, I know like you usually, huh? Actually, no, not now I'm thinking about it. No, that doesn't really make sense.
I listen, man. I'm here for any kind of co-op ones I can get. Like my like biggest highlight of the week, not Atlas related news wise, was uh Bandai patched the new Dragon Ball game. Are you a Dragon Ball fan at all?
Uh, Not really. No, I'm not really an anime guy much.
Oh
I
no,
think we
you're
talked about this last. I think we talked about this last time as well. But yeah, I don't know too much about anime, but I do want to get into it. I mean, I say that, but I never do.
Dragon Ball kind of transcends. That's why I always gotta ask, just because like there are those like Dragon Ball is one of those series, kind of like Cowboy Bebop, of like there are people who be like, I don't really watch anime. Oh yeah, but I've seen Akira though. So it's like it's kind of in that camp. Whereas like the new fighting game that came out earlier this year, I haven't picked it up yet, but I was like, oh, I really really wanted it. But one of my big kind of negatives against it was the split screen was an afterthought, so much so that the only thing you can do in split screen, you can play as every character in the game, you only get one stage, and it's the stage with no background, like anything. Like there's almost like no destructibility, there's no, it's like you're in a
Really?
white void basically. So it was like, okay, you clearly were not planning on this to be a game with split screen, and I mean because most games really just don't do split screen at all unless it's like a Street Fighter, because it's like a giant open 3D room for you to fight, so it's a little bit harder resource wise to do split screen, so it makes sense. But the
Right.
funny thing is with it was because it was such a highly requested feature, especially from people playing it back in the day because it was originally a PS2 franchise,
hmm
they updated it and they were like, oh, every stage now you can do in split screen. And I went from, all right, well, I already really wanted this game to be like, okay, I have to buy this game now, because that was like
Yeah.
my one big thing is like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, I like playing games online, but I mean, I also like to bring friends over to play games.
Those days of playing 2 player games.
Oh, I know. Like I picked up Black Ops this week because it was really really
Mm,
stupidly cheap on GameStop. It was I think it's only until the end of this weekend, but it was $35. And I'm like, I feel like for a brand new Call of Duty game, like 50% off.
Oh, Black Ops 6. I thought you
No,
meant like
yeah, not Black Ops 1.
Black Ops 1.
Dude,
I was like, for 35 bucks?
but yeah,
what?
brand new Black Ops 6 for $35 at GameStop, and I was like, that's a really good deal.
That's pretty good.
Like, especially because like I usually pretty much only go into Call of Duty for like zombies in the single player, and I've heard like nothing but really really good stuff about the single player.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, that I did pick it up on the most controversial week, because did you hear Black Ops had a big season drop like on Friday, and a bunch of the stuff they put in their like Christmas update is all like using AI garbage.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So bad time to support Activision, but I had a $10
it's the price drop at least.
No, and what's funny is I didn't even know I had a coupon as well, so I technically got it brand new with a steelbook, and I had a $10 coupon, so I got it all for $25, and I was like, that is so cheap. I was like, I can't not buy this.
That's a power move.
So that will be sitting there until I finish Metaphor, because I'm on timeout for other games. Astrobot was like my tiny like my cheat meal for like a week. I literally jumped into Astrobot the week of Thanksgiving, and I was like, I'll play for one level. That was my thing. I was like, I'll play for one level and then I'll go back to Metaphor, and then I ended up platinuming it.
And you're like, fuck it. It's 2 a.m. the next week.
No, yeah, it was really really bad, but we'll kind of get into like games and stuff we've been playing. But do you have your wrap pulled up, or like either like a screenshot of it, or do you have it nearby?
I have it on my phone. I didn't know you wanted me to pull it up on my computer.
Oh no, you can do it on your phone. Your phone's totally fine. It's the honor system. You can tell me you played 900 hours of Uno. I'd believe you.
Well, 900 hours not of Uno, but I guess should we just start?
Yeah. Run it through. So what's it tell you? You don't have to say everything. You can just kind of like pick up the highlights.
So first we have my highlights. Total time gaming, 747 hours.
Damn.
Games played, 42. Preferred platform, console, big shock. Achievements earned, 354. Gamer score.
Oh wait, hold on. How many hours did it say you played this year?
747. 747. Oh shit, that's a
that is so fun. That is so funny. I'm literally 740 exactly.
I got 7 hours on you.
I can make it up.
So gamer score, 7,240 points earned. Busiest month, February, and I know exactly why.
You're playing a lot of Helldivers.
That's not on Xbox.
Exactly.
Wait, I just pissed on your joke.
No.
Anyway, so I have the genres here. Top genres: 61% role playing. Again, big shock. 35% action adventure. 3% shooter, and 1% classics. I don't know what that could mean. I can't remember every single.
How much time have you spent playing Banjo-Kazooie? There's like what are the classics you can play? I guess actually, I assume if you play like any Xbox One, 360, or original Xbox games, maybe that would count.
Yeah, maybe they count backwards compatible as classic. Because I know I did play some backwards compatible games. So, do you want to see how I stack up according to these stats?
Oh yeah, because Xbox does like you're in the blank percentage of categories, right?
Yep. I am in the top 5% of players for time played.
Or like overall.
Yeah.
Nice.
I am in the top 1% of players for gamer score, which that doesn't really sound right to me. I know I didn't get that many achievements this year. And I'm in the top 1% of players for achievements unlocked. Again, I don't really know how they measure this.
Would you say you're much of like an achievement hunter?
I used to be a lot more. Not as much nowadays, but yeah, I used to be. I did I got a lot of the when I was still when I still had my 360, I did a lot of the easy completion games like Fight Night Round 3, Avatar: The Burning Earth, which Never forget.
Never forget King Kong. King Kong, I would only put up there just because. Do you remember the thing with King Kong?
I never got King Kong myself, but I know it was an easy completion.
King Kong's the best. Just in case anyone doesn't know, King Kong, and I guess we should say this because there are now multiple King Kong games. Peter Jackson's King Kong, the video game, a surprisingly good game.
The movie, the video game, I think.
Yeah, sorry, the movie, the video game. It's a surprisingly good movie, a surprisingly good game, and the funniest thing about it was because this was like a launch 360 game, they didn't really know how achievements should or shouldn't work. So there is one achievement for 1,000 gamer score at the end of the game that you get. You just you're like, here you go. Thanks for playing the game. We have nothing else to offer you.
Yeah. I mean, you think that's funny? Avatar: The Burning Earth. You could literally perfect.
Avatar is almost like if it
30 seconds.
If it wasn't for the fact that like that was like not a thing, like because like you know how there's those like really easy like meme games now on like PlayStation and Xbox of like hold X for a platinum, like that wasn't a thing back then, but it is just like so funny to think about it in the sense of like like that would be something that they would have done it purposefully now. Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, to get all the achievements / trophies in Avatar. In Avatar: The Burning Earth, you literally just have to get a 50 hit combo, which is literally just mash B or circle, and bam, done. All achievements.
I mean, listen, not all heroes wear capes.
No. Classic. But that takes me back. I used to be big into achievements. I think the first game I perfected. I want to say was either Far Cry 3, because that was pretty easy overall. Like, not too bad. I mean, for a Ubisoft open world game, it wasn't too bad.
The multiplayer trophies are where I noped out on that one, but yeah.
Well, it was only co-op. You only had to beat the co-op campaign, which now you can't play anymore. But I mean, they took out the multiplayer in the when they remastered it. So now it's just the single player stuff, and I got all those achievements again when that happened.
Oh damn! You double dipped on Far Cry Remastered. That's impressive, actually.
I double dipped on Far Cry 3 Remastered. I also double dipped on Deadpool. Deadpool, the video game. Remember that?
That's man. If you have that physically, by the way, that is an expensive game.
You know, I think I still have my 360 copy back in France. Yeah, I think I still have it.
Because it got discontinued so quickly, both the PS3 360 as well as the PS4 and Xbox One copies are way more expensive, but both of them are all rare now.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure I still have my 360 copy, and I still own it digitally. So they didn't. It's not installed, but they didn't take it away from me. So, what a fun game. Oh no, I think I know what my first completion was. It was Walking Dead Survival Instinct.
Oh my god, bro! I'm just like, are you okay? Like, your games are just like so all over the place. They're
I swear to God,
really great or really bad.
I swear to God, my taste is better than it sounds like. But Survival Instinct actually didn't have like the thing I loved about Survival Instinct is that it was such a short game. Like, you literally could like run through it within a few hours, and then when you beat it, you unlock an assault rifle and the crossbow, and at that point you could literally just finish the game in an hour. It was that short, and so it made getting all the achievements like kind of a breeze.
Do you remember the announcement trailer for that game?
I believe so. It wasn't gameplay. It was like before the farm or before Atlanta. They were brothers.
So there was something else. It might be at the end of the trailer, but I just remember in the announcement trailer, it was just like a zoomed in shot of Norman Reedus and
Michael Rooker. Yeah.
Michael Rooker just being like, and I'll never forget this line. It's like Michael Rooker just being like, Earl and Durrell in a video game. What could be better? What could be better than that? And just like, I could never unforget that read, because it like the way he said, because what's Daryl's brother's name?
Merle.
Merle. Like, the way he said Merle and Daryl was like Merle and Earl. It's like the worst take possible. It was like, can we maybe get him to go one more time? No? Okay, sorry.
Too bad we never got Toe Jam and Durl.
Oh my god. Well, hey, give it time. I mean, listen, everyone needs a paycheck eventually. And also, very, very short aside because I haven't played it. The Keanu Reeves level for Shadow Sonic Generations is finally out. And I saw the trailer because they dropped it in the middle of the Game Awards. Yeah. And I was like, that's kind of weird. I would have thought that they would have announced it at the Game Awards as like being out, or maybe like kind of promoted into it. There is a reason they are not promoting it that hard. So Keanu Reeves does the voicing for the level, which is a pretty cool get. Until you hear it, it is the worst like lip reading ever. It is like, all right, guys, we have Keanu Reeves for 5 minutes. We cannot get any other lines. It is first take only, and they are all so bad. Like, have you heard any of them?
I haven't, but it's Keanu Reeves. I know what to expect. He's a great. He's a saint. I love him, but he's not a good actor.
No.
Well,
Keanu Reeves can be a good actor. Yeah, he has the ability to be a good actor.
Speed.
Like when he's even when he does like Bill and Ted, like he knows how to add like personality to his voice. So like when I tell you that this man got paid probably half the budget of the entire game to say chaos control, this is literally how he says it. Chaos control. It's like, what do you do? And like the wildest thing is, I've heard him in the movie. Like I've seen clips, I've seen the trailers. He sounds great in the movie. Like he actually they clearly told him to do more than one read. It's just for the video game. They're like, yeah, this is for like a 10-minute level. That's a DLC tie-in to the movie. Yeah, we are like they went into this being like, listen, you should just count yourself lucky we got Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you got to just take what you can get.
But I'm like, listen, dude, this is a guy who is willing to be in like a lot of things. Keanu Reeves is like an actor I like when he shows up, but you'll never hear me say this. Oh my god, I can't believe they got Keanu Reeves in the SpongeBob movie. Like he'll just kind of do whatever.
Yeah, I kind of respect him for that.
Exactly.
I still stand by he's not a great actor though. I stand by that.
I mean, I will say he has a very specific range.
We can say that, sure. I feel like I'm being mean, but I love him.
Yes, but yes, everyone out there, please look at the comment section for the Sonic 3 movie DLC for Shadow Generations, and half of the comment sections are people freaking out it's Keanu Reeves, and the other half of them are like, wow, this might be the worst ad read I've ever heard in my entire life. But yeah, so where were we at? So besides achievements,
yeah, we were just talking about achievements. How I used to be an achievement hunter, yada yada yada. But we were still on my Xbox Wrapped, and now we get to the good stuff. My top games.
I'm open for Fortnite.
I haven't played a single second of Fortnite this year. So, I'll give you. Do you want to guess? Hold on, I'll give you some hints. Time played, 144 hours. Gamer score earned, 1,165. Achievements earned, 56. The top achievement, Together Into Tomorrow. Would you like to guess?
I assume it's got to be Reload.
It's Reload. Reload is my number one game.
So did you play Episode Igus?
Yeah, that's probably like why it's number one.
Okay, that would make sense because that was actually my number one as well. You were at how many hours?
144.
Okay, I was at 167, which is funny because I didn't even platinum the game.
I perfected it.
Did you do it in one playthrough or did that involve another playthrough?
That was one playthrough.
I think I was short 2 social links maxing out. Otherwise, I would have gotten it. The only thing I didn't get was the trophy for getting everyone's social link maxed out by the end of the year.
Do you know which ones you forgot?
I missed the student council guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hidetoshi. I think that was his name.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I know I got most of them. That's the tricky part. So I'm trying to think. I got the priest. I got the old couple. I got the young girl. I got most of the relationships. Oh, you know what? Ironically, I was missing 3. I got everything except the student council,
Mm-hmm.
Yukari, and Aigis. I was so pissed. Aigis I got because you can only start her social rank at the final month of the year.
Yeah.
I got her to rank 9, and I was like, I know I wasn't going to get it, but I was at least like, okay, I got to do it. But there was one day where I talked to Junpei, and it starts that special conversation with him, and it doesn't do it like it's a normal thing where it's like, all right, if you talk to Junpei, you're going to lose the whole day because it starts this like special cutscene, and that was the only day I could have maxed out Aigis, and I was like, fuck.
Damn.
But I mean, like, I will enjoy playing through Reload again on like New Game Plus like later on. Like I'll get the platinum eventually. It was just so funny that I was like, I had sunk so many hours into the base game, and then like I probably put another like 40 just into episode Aegis.
That reminds me of my second time playing through Persona 5. I was determined to get all the social links because I didn't my first time through, but because it was my first Persona game. And I was doing this on New Game Plus. I had gotten everyone except for Haru. Haru was the only one I didn't, and I was like going fast. I was in the last month before you do the depths of mementos, and I was like trying to do like all her ranks. I was talking to Chihaya to like increase her bond that way, and I was 2 ranks short. I don't think I got to a rank 9. I got to rank 8 with Haru, and I felt so bad. I'm like, God damn it.
And was that with vanilla or royal?
This was vanilla. This was this was a few months before royal came out.
Yeah, getting max with everybody was definitely harder in the original game versus royal, just for having that extra time.
I mean, I was on New Game Plus too, because I'd done like I'd gotten all the social stats, and I'd ranked up like everyone else. It's just horror. I just missed.
Clearly, you just hate girls with big foreheads. That's the moral of the story.
Maybe because my first playthrough of Royal, I rejected Haru, and I just felt so horrible about it. She's like the only one who's genuinely like hurt by your rejection. Everyone else is just like, I'm cool with it, but she's just like, oh, okay.
That's like so funny. I was thinking about that. I don't know if I've ever actually rejected like a love interest in a Persona game before. I don't know if I've ever done it.
Ooh, harem all the way.
Yeah, because I normally am either like I either don't go for everybody or I go for just one. I think the first game, ironically, where I actually did a harem was P5R because there was like a trophy for it or something. And the other games I normally was just like Persona 3 the first time I was only with Mitsuru.
Mm-hmm.
And Portable I did Fuka. P4 I did Yukiko. And then Golden I did Naoto. And yeah, because I was like, because there was never a reason for it. So I never got them either maxed out, because I was never a player who would normally play any of those to be like, oh, I'm going to max everybody out. Because there was like, well, there's no achievements. I've got other things I want to do. I got to find out what that fucking weird French kid wants. I got to hang out with him. Leave Yukari alone. I don't need to talk to Yukari.
That's me. Hi, I'm the weird French kid.
Exactly. I want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you, Kari. She already talked to me about her dad. I already know what's going on with her. So
yeah, her dad's dead. Lol.
Still dead.
But can I just off topic quick? Do you follow wrestling at all?
I'm aware of it because Twitter, and I have a lot of mutuals who like to post it, but not like I'm not completely caught up.
So in this promotion called AEW, which is basically WWE's rival, there's this wrestler named Christian Cage, who's for a while his whole gimmick was that he would make fun of wrestlers whose fathers were dead. He was like, he would like come out and be like, I hear you had a father and your father is dead. He was just like that's how he would like attack them. And there was this great moment too where he was talking to this one wrestler. I can't remember who it was. I think it was I can't remember who it was, but anyway.
Well, clearly whoever it was didn't have a dad.
Came out is like he came out and was like, does your dad still live at so and so address? And if you looked up the address, it was a cemetery.
Oh my god.
It was so brutal. I loved it. But now he's got me like brain rotted. So now anytime I see in any form of media, be it book, movie, TV show, game, if someone has a dead father, I just laugh because I just think of Christian Cage.
That is too funny, man.
Unfortunately,
I do have to describe it as fatherless behavior, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my dad's dead, so you're right there.
Oh my god. So what was next after P3R?
Oh god, what a segue. So my number 2 game, I'll do what I did with P3R. Time played 132 hours. Gamer score earned 985. Achievements earned 62. Top achievement, we did it? Question mark. You want to take a guess?
How many hours again?
132.
We did it. Metaphor?
Nope.
Huh.
Metaphor is not a 100-hour game.
No, that's true. Is it a game that came out this year?
Yes.
Huh.
Very early.
Very early.
1 week before Reload, exactly.
Oh, is it Yakuza?
Yep. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Were you surprised that was your number 2?
No, because I did spend a lot of time in that game. Like, because it came out like end of January, and I know, and Reload came out like February 2nd, like really early, like start of February. But I didn't hop on Reload until I finished Infinite Wealth, which was probably halfway through February.
Now that is patience.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we talked about it last time, but I wasn't really hyped for Reload, and after finishing it, I'm still not really hyped for it. It's just fine.
Most played game of the year. Not that big on it.
Most played game of the year, and it's probably my least favorite game on this list. So that's a shame. But Infinite Wealth was really good. Like from a gameplay standpoint, it was phenomenal. Story was really good. Didn't quite stick the landing, but overall, I still really loved it.
I'm very intrigued to get to it, but I know it's not going to be anytime soon. But I mean, Lord knows my Yakuza backlog's not going anywhere. But I am still intriguingly interested to see how they wrap up Kiryu's story, even if I don't think they're really going to wrap it up.
No, I won't say anything. Where are you at with the Yakuza games?
I've got to beat 7, and then I still need to beat / play Gaiden before 8.
Okay. Oh, so you've played like 0 through 6.
Yeah,
right?
So I'm all caught up before then. I missed a couple interstitial games, but I think I was like at least halfway through or so with 7.
Yeah.
Seven's also long.
7. Yeah, I love 7. I'd say I think I like 7 more than Infinite Wealth, just because it had like really good game, like Infinite Wealth, really good gameplay, but I just like the story better.
That I am not surprised about.
But yeah, that's not to say Infinite Wealth had a bad story, just that it didn't quite stick the landing at the end. But yeah, I'm excited for the pirate game though. Majima Black Flag. I'm all in.
I cannot believe that is less than 2 months out now.
I'm so excited. If I have any PTO, I'm gonna use it to just to play that. Anyway, now we have my number 3 game, and I'm not gonna do the stats. It's Metaphor.
Okay, how many hours?
97 hours.
Okay.
I didn't perfect it. I only got like maybe half the achievements. I know a lot of people, or a lot of my moots on Twitter, they did grind out the achievement to to max out all the archetypes. I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'm right at the end of the game. I just want to finish it. If I decide to play Metaphor again, which I probably will at some point, I'll go for that. But yeah, I just played the game, got 38 achievements for a total of 590 gamer score, and apparently the top achievement I got was Debate Me, which was to win a debate against all the candidates.
Oh, nice. And would you say we're now, like, for both Yakuza and Metaphor, would you say you'd put those in your top 3, or any other ones you kind of would put higher up, even if they weren't hour-wise more enjoyed?
Are we talking games from just this year, or just like games overall?
No, just this year. Yeah, just this year.
Well, Metaphor is my game of the year. I don't know if I said that before, but if I were ranking these, if I were just ranking these top 3, honestly, the whole thing would just be reversed. So Metaphor at number 1, Reload at number 3, and Infinite Wealth can stay at number 2.
You could stay there.
Yeah. I still love you. And then, so just quick, I don't really have stats for these, but it also shows like your other favorite games, and for a total like 20 games. So I'll just run through these really quick. So going from the bottom, Borderlands 2, which I just started playing again literally the other day. Alan Wake Remastered, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Like a Dragon Ishin. That's one. That was on Game Pass. I thought I would finish it before it left Game Pass, but it didn't really grab me, so I kind of just left it, unfortunately. Hi-Fi Rush, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So there you go. That's, like we said, it updates. Return to Batman Arkham City. So Return to Arkham City, the remastered. Mm-hmm. Resident Evil Village, Arkham Asylum, Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, so now we're in the top 10. So from number 10, Yakuza 0, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, Deadly Premonition. Oh, what a fun! That's probably the classic that was brought up earlier. AI: The Somnium Files, Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney Trilogy, which I have not finished. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, which I'm honestly surprised didn't make. Well, not really, because I did spend a lot of time on Metaphor and the hours I sunk into Reload and Infinite Wealth. Obviously, no chance Vengeance was gonna make it there.
Does it show you how many hours you played of SMT5?
No. This is just like the quick wrap up of like your favorites. And then the last game on the list after Vengeance was the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. So I finished the Ace Attorney, the Phoenix trilogy. I'm still going through Apollo Justice right now. I'm still on the 5th game. So yeah. So those are my games.
And I forget if it has it pulled up. Does it show any of what is it? Does it show any? Because I remember listening to a show where they were talking about one of the things with it. Were there any games in your wrap up that kind of showed you like you were in the top blank percentage of people who played this game or anything like that in terms of time played or hours like that?
Yes. So it just has it for the top three. So for Reload, I am in the top 4% of this game's most active players. For Infinite Wealth, I'm in the top 15%. Yeah, same thing, most active players. And Metaphor, the top 20% of most active players. So the fact that it's like top 20 for just Xbox, that's pretty impressive for Metaphor, I feel like.
That is like so crazy, especially when you like think about the fact that like how long those games are, and like the completion rate. Because like what I always love doing with Xbox and especially PlayStation and Steam achievements is looking at how crazy high they are for some of the really late story game ones. Of just being like, damn man, like these games just have such crazy long like reach.
Yeah.
But that's really really crazy. So any surprises outside of the ones you'd already kind of mentioned? Any like takeaways of like, dang, I'm surprised I didn't see this here, or anything that you think might creep up there with the last couple days left in the year?
Um, Maybe Max Payne 3 because I also started replaying that again.
Fuck, I love Max Payne 3. God,
honestly,
that soundtrack is so good.
Honestly, if Borderlands 2 wasn't at number 20, Max Payne 3 probably would be.
So normally I would ask why for both, but Max Payne 3 is so peak you don't have to answer.
Well,
What made you want to start playing Borderlands again?
well, believe it or not, it wasn't the phenomenal movie. And it wasn't the reveal at the Game Awards. Well, actually no, it was revealed during Summer Game Fest, but they had the trailer at the Game Awards. No, I don't know, I just felt like oh, no, actually I know exactly what it was. Do you know the YouTuber CDawgVA?
I do.
So last week he posted like a video of him, like basically a highlight of him and the VTuber Iron Mouse just going through Borderlands 2. And I got home from work super late at night and I saw that it was there. So I just threw it on, took an edible and just zoned out and just enjoyed just enjoyed watching it. And I don't know. That was like, you know what? I feel like playing it again. So I don't know if I'll finish it all the way or if I'll just play until I'm sick of it. But yeah, just memories because Borderlands 2 when it came out was one of my favorite games of all time.
I mean, I would still put it up there. That's such a just fun comfort game to play either multiplayer or single player.
Yeah. I think also I started playing Witcher 3 again, and I love Witcher 3 to death, but that game is such a beast to get through.
That's a commitment.
Like it makes Persona 5 Royal look like Alan Wake.
I gotta pick up Witcher 3 one of these days. Like I was thinking about it recently because Cyberpunk went on sale too. I was like, I'll probably play Cyberpunk first, but especially now like that we're kind of like leading up to Witcher 4, I'm like kind of like, man, I bet I would really like these games.
Yeah, Cyberpunk is a lot more. It's easier to digest. Like Witcher 3 is like you really got to buckle down and really be in the right mindset to play because it's a lot of dialogue, a lot of trekking.
Ironically, the biggest thing that got me interested in Witcher 3 was how much everybody, not just the base game, because I mean everyone loves the base game, but like I remember when Blood and Wine came out, and my fucking friend group would not shut up about how good it was. They were just like,
oh, it is phenomenal.
They were like, holy fuck, this is like one of the best, like just straight up things that's released in the year.
No,
and I was like,
it is phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, it's like, and that's just like a part of this experience. It's not even like a part of the base game. Like it's just a thing in the game.
I thought about because after I finished the main campaign, I think I finished Witcher 3 back in 2017. I did the main campaign and then I hopped on the DLC. So first was Heart of Stone, which I played and I enjoyed, but after I finished it, I was like, okay, maybe my love for Witcher 3, maybe the brain rot is starting to die out.
Are you breaking up with Geralt?
So I'll play. Maybe I'll just play like a little bit of Blood and Wine, and I ended up playing all of Blood and Wine. It was just absolutely. Oh, it was so good. The new location, the quests, like the new mechanics, the story mode, so good.
That's
Story mode,
that's
story.
awesome, man. I mean,
Yeah, Blood and
there,
Wine.
there
Yeah.
there are so many like especially like Western RPG games. Like I really like a lot of like Western games with it, but like I'm like, damn man, I gotta get back to some of these. Like I was
Mhm.
even thinking about recently, I was like, I cannot believe I still have not played I still can't believe that I haven't played Baldur's Gate. I was like, I'm sure I would
I
eat
I
the
need
fuck
to.
out
I
of
want to
that game.
play. I want to play Baldur's Gate. I don't know if I would like it, but I just have a friend. They absolutely love it, and they love it so much they briefly dropped Metaphor to start a new playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean,
But
yeah, they
they're
did do that really big patch, so that
yeah
makes sense at least why.
yeah. I'll get to Baldur's Gate 3 at some point. I'm just waiting for a big enough sale to drop for it on Xbox. Um, but yeah, I want to play Baldur's Gate so bad.
I guess if there's anything else, I can kind of burn through mine really quick.
I guess one last note I want to mention about Witcher 3. Probably another reason why I started replaying again. So at work, I sometimes listen to stuff like music, podcasts, and audiobooks, and I was listening to an audiobook. It was Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier,
Oh
in
yeah,
which
by with Ray Chase reads that, right?
yeah, which by the way, phenomenal audiobook reader, Ray Chase. But yeah, so Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, basically every chapter, like he talks about the making of a game. So just to list a couple of them off, there was Shovel Knight, Uncharted 4, Diablo 3, Halo Wars, and a couple others, I'm for sure. But Witcher 3 was one of them, and I can't remember like specifics off the top of my head. But just like hearing about like some of the stuff CD Projekt went through trying to make Witcher 3, like I was like, man, it just got me thinking about Witcher 3 again. So it was, and that was probably the past few weeks. So I guess Witcher, you could say Witcher 3 has been on my mind like since then, and that's just made me want to replay it again.
Well, I see Witcher 3 like on PS5 like $20 all the time. I'm just like one of these
Oh
days
yeah,
I just gotta suck it up and
it's a
just pick
complete
it up.
version, and it's usually the complete version too, which
Mhm.
includes Heart of Stone and Blood and Wine. I mean, Blood and Wine on its own is worth $20 for sure.
Oh yeah. Let's go
But anyway,
through
let's go
let's
for you.
go through mine real quick. Let me get this pulled back up. So PlayStation does theirs a little bit different. There are some stats I wish they would include, and I'm sure there are some other ones because outside of Fortnite, I don't think I played any multiplayer games. I haven't had PlayStation Plus actually for almost a year or so at this point. And I
Watch, did
mean,
you
with
have any
my
trouble getting your? Because I thought that was a thing with like
oh yeah,
PlayStation
it was
Wrap.
down. It was down for like an entire week.
But you finally got it.
Yeah, I got mine like 2 or 3 days ago, which was funny because they announced it last week and it was broken for like almost an entire week.
God.
So the way it starts, it goes with how many games you played throughout the whole year, and
Hmm.
obviously there are still like some ones getting added just because they're not completely done yet. But I played 32 PS5 games and 9 PS4 games,
Ooh.
and I'm kind of curious. I wish I could sort of see all of them. I mean, I'm sure if I like looked at my trophy list, I would understand because I'm wondering how it handles split games. Like if I opened up the PS4 version of like P3R versus the PS5 version of P3R and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So the very first game I played this year, and only goes into how bad I was about. I guess I wouldn't say bad, but I was just like, damn man, I gotta beat this fucking game. In January, I was finally wrapping up P5 Tactica.
Oh,
So
phenomenal
that was
game.
that was the first game I started playing this year. And then my top 5 games, I only screenshotted the top 3. I think the other ones were like 4th and 5th place were probably like Metaphor and Fortnite, or Fortnite and Metaphor. And it was funny because I was like, why do I have so many hours in Fortnite this year? Like, I haven't played in so many. I think I've missed the last like 3 seasons. Like, it was really funny because I like had a couple of seasons where I was just like, all right, I'll probably be into it. And then I just couldn't care less. The only reason I played a bunch of Fortnite was there was one season at the beginning of the year. Do you remember when they added Peter Griffin?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I can tell you when, but yeah.
Peter Griffin, not the reason I jumped back into Fortnite.
For the Fortnite
They
Festival?
they added the skin in the Battle Pass for Solid Snake, and then you could buy Raiden. And I was like, holy fuck, I have to do this just for, because Metal Gear Solid is my favorite gaming franchise of all time. I was like, I have to do this. I was like, even if all I do is just like have this skin, like I had to do it. And it was just one of those ones that I played so much to unlock the skin, because it was a pretty deep unlock for a couple of the outfits I wanted, that I was like, all right, I might as well just get everything on the battle pass. And like, I probably sunk at least like 40-50 hours or fucking maybe even like 60 into the battle pass for it that season. And it was funny because I'd played so much, I was like, damn, all right, I'm ready for the next season. And then every other season after that, I will start a season and I'll be like, nope, I'm good, don't need it. So I'll go through weird little phases, but yeah, my number one top played game, at least for the year, 167 hours for P3R. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is it was 23% of my overall playtime this year, which is fucking wild to think about. Over one game, like almost a quarter of my game time this year was just in P3. And I owned 55 trophies. And my second place, which I was kind of shocked wasn't my first, but I think if it wasn't for the fact that I played episode Aegis, it probably would have been my first, was Rebirth? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
So that was 120 hours, and that was only 16% of my playthrough. That was a game I'm definitely not platinuming anytime soon. That fucking... Man, that platinum, I think like the director had to make a comment about being like, hey, we probably made this platinum too hard. Be like, yeah, the third game will not have this hard of a trophy list. And then more shockingly, not that it was like in the top 3, but like that I got so close to like 90 hours with this, and I only played half the game. So in third place is SMT5 Vengeance. I'm at 80 hours.
Damn.
And that was only
how many I had.
And then what was funny is it's 80 hours, and that's only with my Creation of Vengeance playthrough. I didn't even that's not even counting my playthrough of the other side, because I messed around on Xbox and I messed around on Switch with the Canon of Creation.
Mm-hmm. With the original game, right?
Yeah, well, and not even counting the original hours with it. So like, it's so funny to think like, probably between all platforms, I played about 100 hours of SMT5 this year. The only thing I haven't played, I think, is one optional super boss.
Mm-hmm. In what game?
For SMT5, the only thing like content-wise I haven't seen is the one super boss in the Canon of Creation. I still haven't done that one yet. But when I saw what it was, I was like, okay, yeah, it's cool. I fought the super boss I wanted. He'll be fine. Right. But I was just shocked because I was like, dang, like I ate up SMT5 over the course of like a month or two, and it was just so funny of like playing that game. Because it was literally, I played P3R. And then I did another 100+ hours. It was like 100 hours for P3R, and then 100 hours of Rebirth, and then immediately rolled into another like 80 hours of SMT5. Which then, ironically, like as soon as I was done with SMT5, episode Aegis was almost out, and then by the time episode Aegis came out, I've been playing Metaphor, and it's been like, dude, like this year more than any has just been like RPG, and like I still haven't even booted up Unicorn Overlord. I still haven't played. Like,
I want to so bad.
So many games I'm behind on this year, and like other ones like I don't even like own, and I like want to get into it. It's been like, damn, dude, like the backlog for me like this year is like the one that has hurt the most. And it was so funny because like the next thing it shows is what's your most played, like it goes, what is your most played genre type. I'm more shocked at how low the percentage is. It says you played 61% of games this year playing RPGs, and I'm
Hey,
like, honestly, I
that's
feel
what I
like it
had.
could have been higher.
That's exactly what I had. 61% role playing.
That is funny, man. What are the hours? So yeah, our hours were the same. It also has play sessions. I booted up and played a game on my PlayStation over 678 times,
Jesus.
which I just feel like more bad for my electricity bill more than anything.
Hmm.
So because PlayStation trophies are a little bit different, they are all counted by like platinum, gold, silver, bronze. I earned
Right.
exactly 555 trophies at the time I made this wrap.
Mm.
And shockingly, not as many platinums as I would have thought. I should have looked up and seen what games I got platinums in. I only got 3 platinums, 35 gold, 113 silver, and then 404 bronzes.
Yeah.
And I think that wraps up my other one. What's funny is because they don't count multiplayer hours because I don't have PlayStation Plus. It just shows that I have 0 hours in multiplayer, even though it's like, oh, but you did play Fortnite for like 60. It's like, I don't know
You
when
just
you
played.
did the.
You just played offline against bots.
Yeah,
You played the
peak
tower defense
Fortnite.
mode.
Yeah, I was doing Lego Fortnite by myself. So yeah, my wrapped on that one was kind of surprising because I've been drowning in video games, but then also I'm like, I have so many games I haven't gotten to that like I almost feel bad. Like the fact that Metaphor is not even anywhere on here, but it's like, yeah, but I'm still playing it. Like I'm still only in I'm like just now wrapping up the I think second dungeon, like the major dungeon. So like I'm
Yep.
in July, August or whatever, and it's just really funny of just being like, yeah, like now that I'm kind of done with my distractions, I'm just sort of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna steamroll this thing as quickly as I can, but also at the same time, it's like, hey, I've been waiting for this game for like ever. Like my thing is like I want to play as much as I can, but I never want to rush. Like I hate rushing
Yeah.
through a game.
That's good that it's good that you mentioned that where you were because when we talked, I had a feeling that when we talked about the awards that Metaphor won at the Game Awards, I probably would have talked about like bits in the story. But if you haven't finished it, I'll hold back on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I will tell you right now, was not expecting us to do a hour or so talking about our Wrapped, but I mean, I also enjoy just talking random weird video game stats. So
I mean, we
I
we spent like 2 hours on my lore last time.
that is true. So I shouldn't be that surprised. But we were talking about this a little bit before. Um, I know we're gonna. I got a question or two I want to ask you about Indiana Jones. But have you been playing anything else recently besides Indy?
Actually, just one last thing. Do you have like, does it give you on your wrap? Does it give you like a special like award or like badge anywhere?
It gives you like a PlayStation Stars icon that you can use, or there's like a little like like a token you can get, but nothing cool.
Okay, because I have so on my wrapped on my Xbox wrapped, it has like a little badge with a with like a shoot what's the word like in a yearbook you have like a quote under or like your what's that word most likely to something it's
Oh yeah. It'll be like a little like commemorative thing of like most
yeah.
likely to do this or most likely to do that.
Well, it's not exactly like that for here. I know there's a specific word for it, but I have a badge that's it says night owl, but night as in like with a K, so not like darkness. It's night owl. You prefer quests over objectives with a dash of magic and a good dungeon or three, which just goes to show you how much how much JRPG I play this year.
I appreciate those. I kind of wish that PlayStation would have that though.
Yeah. So what was your question before that?
No, I was going to ask if you've been playing anything else recently besides Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Like new games or overall?
Oh, just saying in general. Like so,
Just
besides
in general.
Borderlands, besides
Borderlands,
Borderlands, Max Payne, and Indy.
Witcher 3, of course. But also I've also dabbled a bit with the Switch, and if we could probably call this, if we did like a Switch wrap, we could call this my number one game. My Sims Cozy bundle.
Oh yeah, I forgot that came out. How have you been liking it?
It's fun. I've just played the first game again because that's before I had a 360, I had a Wii, and that was like one of the first. Probably not one of the first games oh, maybe. Well, anyway, it was a game I had on the Wii when I was a little kid, and I just a chance to re-experience it again.
Listen, I'm
Was
just
fun.
saying, every copy sold inches us closer to getting My Sims
My
Agent.
Sims Agents. We need My Sims Agents back.
Dude, the HD video game world is not ready for the peak of
Oh,
My Sims Agents.
I fucking loved that game.
Dude, My Sims, by the way, underrated franchise. I'm so glad whoever lost a bet at EA like put that back out, like, because those games like are legitimately like they still hold up.
Well, my Sims Party they could leave in the garbage.
Oh no. I like specifically My Sims Kingdom and My Sims Agent. I remember being like, these were
Yeah.
legitimately good
No,
games.
though I never played Kingdom. But the ones I had were My Sims Party, unfortunately, and My Sims Agents, and oh god, My Sims Agents was so good.
Wasn't there? I think there was a racing one too.
Yeah, My Sims. I think it was it was My Sims Racing, maybe.
Yeah, I think
Probably.
there was like a flying thing with it. That one I heard was just kind of like whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, you probably put it in the trash next to Party. But yeah. So yeah. Am I playing anything else aside from?
only like 9 other games at the same time.
No, just 5. And honestly, probably 6 is after. Well, maybe. Well, no, it'll still be 5 because I think after I finish Indiana Jones, I reinstalled it. I'm probably gonna play through Wolfenstein: The New Order again because machine games.
I'm gonna give you a recommendation if especially if you haven't played this, because I know they're backwards compatible. Actually, I'll
Uh-huh.
double check if they're not. If you are enjoying Indiana Jones, this is what everyone's been telling me, and one of the things I'm so excited about to play it. Have you played the Chronicle of Riddick games?
Yes. Oh, I played um the 361. It wasn't Butcher Bay. It was Assault on Dark Athena, which I think it had Butcher Bay in
Yeah,
it.
but yeah, it's like it's an HD version with a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, I played that way back on my 360. I remember enjoying it.
It plays like so like that when I heard people playing Indiana Jones and they were like,
No,
oh
it's
yeah,
yeah. It's
it
literally
pl-
Butcher Bay.
it plays like Butcher Bay, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fucking in, because I loved Butcher Bay back in the day. I played that. I had heard about it on Xbox, but I didn't have an original Xbox, so I ended up playing uh Assault on Dark Athena on PS3. I finally got to play that one.
Yeah. I don't recall if Butcher Bay is backwards compatible or not.
So I know Butcher Bay is not. I'm trying to see.
I don't think Assault on Dark Athena is either.
Oh, because that would have been, yeah, because it ended up getting delisted, and probably they didn't get the rights or whatever for it. No, it's not, man.
Damn.
I mean, like, listen, I'm sure. Actually, God, I wonder if it's still on Steam. It's probably not. I wonder if it got delisted, because like physical
Maybe on
copies are
GOG.
not very expensive for Dark Athena.
Maybe on GOG.
Ooh, that's a good point. Let me look.
But yeah,
It is.
I totally feel it. The comparisons. I was like, oh yeah, this feels like. Well, I mean, I was saying it's Assault on Dark Athena because that's the one I played, but I was like, oh yeah, this feels exactly like Chronicles of Riddick.
I lied. It got delisted. It's delisted everywhere. No. Wow.
We lost.
Dude. Yeah, dude. But I mean, like, listen. There's a ton of. I looked at literally an Internet Archive org with just the download link for the whole game. Like it is not hard to find, but it was just like that was one of those games of just being like, bro, the fact that Butcher Bay was as good as it was back in the day, and then Dark Athena is just even better with the original, was just like, oh, it was so good.
I mean, I was never I would call myself a huge fan, but I do remember enjoying Assault on Dark Athena a lot. I think it's because like when I played it, I was so young and I was still kind of trying to figure out what I liked.
Well, and they were hard. Like those were like I guess you like,
I don't think I finished.
Like an immersive sim games are hard especially when you were younger.
Yeah, I don't think I finished it, but yeah.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking who in your opinion, who has more acting range, Keanu Reeves or Vin Diesel?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, controversial.
Vin Diesel just growls everything.
Or says, I am Groot.
Or, I mean, growls. That's basically a growl. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. So, but Indiana Jones, yeah, so good.
How far are you without any spoilers?
I'm still pretty early on, so I've heard it's about a 17-hour game, but I don't know if that like includes doing side content or not.
Shockingly, from what I have heard, it is around like 15 to 20 without doing everything.
Okay, so I still got a long way to go. I'm in. Yeah. So basically what happens is you have the intro, the tutorial, which is literally the opening. They recreate the opening of Raiders, like the Trek to the Jungle, the Indy and Sapito going in the cave, like doing like the traps, like with the light. And
oh yeah, when I saw it was a shot for shot of the opening, I was
shot for shot.
I was kind of shocked, and then also I was like, you know what? Whoever they like had to do like the oh no, why am I forgetting his name? Alfred Molina, his character.
Doc Ock.
Whoever like had to do his impression, good best love luck to you, sir, because I was like that is not something I would feel very confident doing myself.
No, that was fun. And then you have some story bits happen, and then you get to the first major level, which is the Vatican. And that's where the I guess where the immersive sim aspect kind of takes over, because you have an objective to do, but like the Vatican is like a big it's like a big open area with like you use a signpost to like fast travel to different locations. Like that's how big it is. And so you have all these like optional objectives, side quests, and I remember like I feel like I spent a good like maybe like 6-7 hours just in that level alone. So it's a meaty game for sure. And then I got to the second look. I'm at the second like open level, so I'm sure I still have a long way to go.
Damn, man. I'm excited to get to it. I unabashedly am like, because I just know I have no time to play it right now. I'm like, I will 100% just be playing this on the PS5 when that version comes out. But I'm like, the fact that it exists, it just makes me happy. So like, I'm like, all right, I'm glad it's good. And I know like much like playing any games, it'll just get better by the time it comes out on other platforms, like with all the other updates and other things coming to it.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe for DLC they'll do Temple of Doom.
God, that would be interesting. Like, I wonder how they'll do, because I think they're doing something. I think there is like DLC like missions they're gonna do for it, or like some expansion. Like, there's some interesting things you could do.
It's like, imagine they reveal like the first like mission pack, and you see a nuclear test site and then a fridge.
Oh God!
And it's like
turn it off. Just turn it off right now.
Oh boy, we're doing this.
But, there is DLC coming. There will be at least something, like some kind of think for it. Let me get the wording for it, because there is a premium. There will be the Order of Giants story DLC, so like a full on like story expansion.
Okay, I might be like, so not to spoil too much, but there is like uh like part of the story like involves like, or like one of the tombs you go into like involves like giants. So
Oh,
um it's early on. So I'm not spoiling I don't feel like I'm spoiling too much. But yeah, I wonder if it'll be like direct like story DLC and not just like, oh, like a new story.
I feel like with how Machine Games did DLC, it will be tangentially related, but something you can just jump into even if you
Yeah.
haven't beaten the game.
Yeah, like Old Blood.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as much as I would love to turn this into the Indiana Jones cast, I think I can be good and at least move us on to our next thing with it. Um, we were going to talk about more things that I don't actually care as much about, so we're going to do a fun burn through of, I'm going to tell you something,
Lightning round.
and then you will tell me your opinion of it, and then we'll move on till we get to the Game Awards. Sound good?
Sound good?
Recently announced, Puma and Persona 3 Reload are collaborating with Atmos in Japan, and they are doing a official Persona 3 Reload sneaker. And I will just say this about this shoe. Your job was to make a shoe based around Persona 3, and there is not a single fucking bit of blue. Who fucked this up? It's red, black, and white.
Well, Persona 5.
It's like literally, and like the fucking, and I'll include this on like the image for this episode. It is literally just the word "Seize" on the bottom in red, because of course it is, and then the shoes just say on the side "Mass Destruction."
In what color?
Black. Yeah, like a gray black. It's black on gray. It looks
the fact
so
that
bad.
Well, the fact that they put C's in red and not black, like the armbands, clearly they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
No. It's just very weird. It's only coming out in Japan, at least for now. It will be 16,500 yen, and I couldn't. Clearly I care about it in the sense of, man, you fucked this up really, really bad. But also just like, I've seen Puma do some like cool collabs. Like they did some cool like One Piece shoes where like they were themed around characters and they made sense.
It's like they didn't realize they were. It's like they didn't tell them that they were making specifically like a collab shoe with Persona 3. They just said, okay, make the shoe. It has to have the words mass destruction and C's. And then that's all the direction they gave. It was like, okay, like what's the design? What's it called? Like, I just told you, mass destruction C's. Make the shoe. And it's like,
no,
okay.
It is really funny because it really feels like someone was told, guys, we got the approval. We can make Persona sneakers. They're like, oh, sweet. And they were working on this like P5 design. And then at the last minute, they were like, oh, no, this is for P3. And they're like, oh,
shit.
Fuck.
Okay. What's the song? Mass Destruction? No, Mass Destruction. Oh, sorry. Okay, Mass Destruction. Okay, there. What's the group called? Special extras. No, just it's C's. Put C's. Just okay, but where? On the bottom. Just put C's. All right. Okay, done. 1 second to spare before shipping.
It's just so underwhelming. But besides that, speaking of things that are expensive, we have another Evoker replica coming. This is a life-size Persona 3 Reload specifically. Evoker replica is coming out March 2025. It is a 1-to-1 scale replica. Unfortunately, does not bring out your persona, but it does play background music, sound effects, and certain character voices in Japanese, and there's like LEDs on it for the side. Liam, would you like to let everyone know how much they can get this lovely Evoker? Now, I will say, before you say the price, it does come with like a whole thing. You get the Evoker, a briefcase, the C's armband, which, by the way, if we're going to be doing Reload, I feel like they should have included like the Theurgy like little shoulder pad.
I mean, for the price that they're asking for, you'd think.
And then the holster. I always forget there's a holster for the gun. So for all of those, how much is it?
$700. And I need to add on to this. I made a tweet like joking about that like the other day. It was like something, for $700, I better summon an actual persona when I shoot myself in the head with this thing. That became my most liked tweet of the year.
how
I was
many
like,
likes
God
did you get?
I have it bookmarked. Let's see. Right now it is at 16.7K.
That is really, really funny.
I was like, God damn it.
I will say, like, for prop replicas, I think like you could have probably gotten away for like $200 to $300 for this thing for everything it does. It does do a lot of cool stuff though,
Yeah.
especially because I did actually check. There is actually surprisingly a cartridge for the normal and the theurgy attacks, which is like such a like extra little bit of like things to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, this is a ton of money.
You could probably like put that much like into making your own replica, or making your own replica and the cosplay with it.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm looking at a thing right here.
Oh, a thing?
I'm looking at the price for it because I wanted to double check the price. It says it's 110,000 yen, and I'm trying to double check how much that is in USD because I feel like that's actually cheaper. Nope. Yep, that's still fucked a lot of money. Yep, that's still $700 plus.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I looked.
I'm
pretty sure I saw it. Like it said so like on the site itself. So
I just wanted to double check because I was like, hold on, I know the yen's bad, but like maybe it's really bad. No, yeah, that's still a lot of money. Yeah, not that I would even buy this at like $300 or $400 price range for it, but that is extremely hilarious. If you were wanting something a little bit more affordable, not much, but still Atlus related, we did also have an announcement. This is a Western announcement. This is for Metaphor Refantasio.
Oh yeah.
A DX Racer. By the way, do you ever just like feel, Liam, like there's like 1,000 gaming chair companies and they all just like are either like, unless it's like Secret Lab or like something else, like they all their chairs look the same, but they're all from different companies.
I mean, I'm using an IKEA chair, so I don't really pay attention.
Okay, well, you're sitting on the Surf and Florgan, but if you would like to upgrade, DX Racer has a officially branded Metaphor chair, which I will say looks pretty cool design-wise. It's based around the book from the game, so it's got a lot of like gold accents or gold foiling on it. No characters or anything, like kind of like outside of the fact that it has the logo on it. I think if you took the logo off, like it's a pretty clean design for the chair. It's your normal kind of gamer chair setup with the pillows and everything like that. The one factor that always reminds me why I don't get these chairs, this is a $500 chair.
So that's basically like the evoker case and everything, just without the evoker.
Exactly. So
you get the case. It's like the case, the holster, and the armband.
Yeah. So if you send a picture of yourself to me next year using the evoker replica for $700 in the Metaphor chair for $500, I will officially bring you on the show to ask you what's it like to have that much money, because I don't know what that's like.
I will never have that much money in my entire life.
But yes, that was our very, very expensive news update. But there is one surprising update I wanted to bring up, because I haven't said this officially on the podcast yet, but we've had Udon on the show a number of times, and it's almost a month old by the time this finally comes out. But I wanted to give a quick PSA to everybody that Udon finally released the Persona 5 and P5R official design works, the English version, and just reminded people that, hey, that came out. So if you pre-ordered it, you already probably know because you have it. But if you were waiting for it to come out before pre-ordering, it's still in stock. It is a really, really giant 540 plus page hardcover art book featuring art from both games. And it's averaging prices like I think you can get it as low as like $60. The MSRP is like 75. But keep an eye out for it. I'm probably gonna wait unless Santa wants to get it for me. I'll probably wait until like the new year to pick it up. But I'm definitely excited to check it out, just because it's been in development for so long, and obviously the more copies of this that do sell, the higher likelihood that we get more art books and other things like that from Udon. Because I am still dying for an SMT5 art book. That still doesn't even exist in Japan. And especially more recently, I would really fucking want a metaphor art book. Like, really want a metaphor art book. Like, a real one. Sick. But yeah, $70-$60 art book exists out there. That's your PSA. Liam, are you much of an art guy? Like having physical art books?
I have a Persona 3 art book. But the original Persona 3.
Oh, like the one that came with the PS2 launch edition?
Maybe I got it secondhand at well, maybe not secondhand, but I got it at a game store. It was just on its own, and yeah, it's just art from Persona 3, and it's really cool.
Who's on the cover? I can probably tell you what it is by the cover.
I believe it's the main character. It's like it's not a big one. It's a pretty small one.
Okay, small, if it's like, thin. Is it like around the size of like a DVD case?
Yeah, it's Art of Persona 3.
Okay, so that was what came with the launch American copy for the PS2 game when the first game came out.
Interesting.
Because yeah, there's a couple different ones out there. I don't think there's an official design book yet. No, there's just the one from the collector's edition. I would also be interested in a Reload art book just because I like a lot of the official art that they use for that, and I bet there's some pretty cool concept art we still haven't seen.
Oh, I'm sure.
But that was our super speedy news segment, and now we are finally here at our main story of the week, the Video Game Gamer Awards.
It's just like our last podcast. We just spend like 2 hours rambling about
yes,
like,
although I feel like going through all 900 categories of this will still be also horrendously long.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through all of the major categories. We're gonna talk about what won, what we thought was like, if there's like a surprise, if there's anything like that. Like here, I'll do this as a good example. Most anticipated game. We're not gonna go over everything because everyone fucking knew it was gonna be GTA 6.
GTA 6 won an award before Persona 6 got announced.
Why? GTA 6 won an award before coming out. That's the actual big one for it.
Also,
but the thing I wanted to talk about ahead of time was, first off, because we both watched it live. What did you think of the show this year? Overall thoughts, and kind of takeaways. Like, what was your review? I hadn't talked to you about it too much. What did you think of the show this year?
Well, I want to make a small correction there. I didn't watch it live exactly.
Oh, no, you're right, because you had to work.
I was at work, but what I did was I had one earphone in, so I was like kind of like listening as I was working. And occasionally I would like disappear off into one of the utility closets, pretend I was like grabbing something, and just like watch either like an announcement trailer or one of the awards given. Don't tell anyone at my work.
Sam Lake is gonna have a stern talking with you tomorrow.
Hey, you know what? I will listen to Sam Lake talk for days. God bless that man. But overall, from what I saw of the show, it definitely felt like an improvement over last year's show. Like, it definitely feels like, well, actually not just last year. I feel like just an improvement overall, because the Game Awards the last couple of years, from a production and presentation standpoint, it felt kind of rocky at times. Like, a lot of celebrities. I mean, just last year there was a lot of celebrities, a lot of ads, not a lot of time dedicated to, of course, the please wrap it up meme.
Oh God, yeah.
It definitely feel, I'm not the biggest fan of Jeff Keighley, but give a credit where credit is due. It does feel like he did listen to feedback from last year's awards, and he did try to improve. And for the most part, I feel like he succeeded. There's still room for improvement, obviously, but overall, I felt like, and even that was just talking like the presentation from like just awards and like announcement wise, it was a pretty solid show. I feel like.
So I would definitely agree, because like my big takeaway is like this year was not perfect at all. Like especially like one of my biggest like gripes. I really like, man, like I will donate to the Game Awards if we can just like stop burning through awards that really matter. Like, listen, I don't need Queso to come up and give a speech for winning Content Creator of the Year. Like, I mean, hey, listen, I think it's cool that if you win that and stuff like that, but like, I think something like, even like something like Community voted for it, like even as rigged as that is, and I only say rigged in the sense of like what ended up happening to like Community vote for Game of the Year, and even like RPG of the Year. Those are categories I want to hear people have a speech for, and even if they don't have a speech, at least come up on stage and like get the award. Like if you're just sitting there and it's like, hey, great job, you won RPG of the Year or best community support. Do you want to thank anyone? No, just we'll mail it to you later.
Yeah. That one of my biggest gripes. I'm probably jumping the gun here, but Metaphor won best art direction, and I really wanted Sojima to get up there and like say something, get an award, and say a little something. Right, again, we're probably getting ahead.
No, and I mean, like, I think it's very true, and like other things, I think they were better with celebrities this year.
Oh, definitely.
And I think the musical acts were half improved and half not. I think the Arcane one, even as someone who doesn't give half a shit about either League or Arcane, I was like, hey, I'm not even a 21 Pilots fan. And I was like, I thought that was a really good segment that they did with that song. But at the same time, the entire thing of Snoop Dogg being there, and like, I get it. He's there to promote his new album. He is in Fortnite. It's tangentially related. It's just this big thing, though, of like, dude, like, and it's funny too, because like Snoop Dogg is a fan of video games.
Yeah.
But like, he does not need to be there that long, presenting stuff, and then like doing a bunch of songs for like half the crowd to really be into, and the other half the crowd to be like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
I agree with everything you're saying, but at the same time, he performed Gin and Juice, and that song is an all-timer.
No, dude, there was nothing wrong with what he performed. It was just like, why are we doing this here?
Well, for me, it's more like, why are we doing this? But also, I don't really care because Gin and Juice.
Again, and this is me finding things to be like, hey, why was this still the case? Why are we doing this? Things that I think improved, like I feel like everyone can agree on this. The fucking Muppets, this is the best use of the Muppets being in the show they have ever done. The Muppets dude, nothing will be. I mean, now I'm very biased. I'm a huge Muppets fan, and B, Stadolph and Waldor are literally my favorite Muppets.
I respect that, but I wasn't like a big fan of the Muppets. Honestly.
So, like, give me a reason why, because, like, the only negative feedback to them being there, and I kind of get it, is, like, hey, I get it, you're making fun of our complaints for the Game Awards, but you're still doing the thing that you're making fun of.
Yeah, that's pretty much the problem I had. And, I mean, the jokes I didn't think were all that funny. I mean, humor's subjective. If you liked it, that's great. I could have done without it.
I will say this, though. The Kojima line definitely made me, like, burst out loud.
The Kojima line was good. Was definitely the best joke from the Muppets.
With, like, the cutaway for, like, his reaction to it was, oh my God, it was very, very funny.
I mean, if we're talking
This,
like jokes, like other jokes that they did, I want to shout out one, Sam Lake, his the Max Payne style monologue when he was presenting best narrative. I love that so much.
yeah,
Like
like
when he teased like about that he was about to dance, like they want me to dance, but that'll have to be for another day. I was like, just it's become a meme of Sam Lake dancing, but like I said, I just love that man. And secondly, I love the segment between Laura Bailey and Aaron Paul. I just had well, one, I'm rewatching Breaking Bad right now. I'm actually
I liked that too. That was one of like I couldn't tell if it just like went on a little too long, but then also I love both of them. But then at the same time, it was like, I was it intentional, the weird sexual chemistry going on there?
uh prob probably nah, probably not. I think that's just like Twitter like reading too much into it.
I don't know, man.
Um
I was watching that with my wife, and they were like, he is they are really close together.
I mean they're both married to other people, but I just liked I just had this visual in my mind of Risei Kujikawa just absolutely roasting Jesse from Breaking Bad.
That actually, oh man, that would be funny to like see as like a Gary's mod video.
Yeah. It's like
Um,
Jesse opens his it's like, yo, Mr. White, someone's at the door. Who is it? It's Risei Kujikawa from Persona 4. It's like, oh fuck.
yeah, man, she's about to be roasting your ass, so you better hurry up.
Yeah. Or Katone. Just give a little love to the P3P fans and the
That's
Fenty
true.
fans.
Um, also we could also do Abby,
And Ab and Abby.
just Jesse getting the shit beat out of him
Or
with a golf club.
Oof. No, we don't want to piss the insecure males off
I will
by
say
showing them a
though,
muscular woman.
speaking about like some of the speeches and stuff, the Sam Lake one was really great. Another one I really liked was I forget the name of it, but the CEO from Larian, the one he did for the Game of the Year speech, I thought that
Oh
was
yeah,
also really
that
great.
that was a great speech. Yeah.
Also, minor aside, but just what a flex of like countering everyone's expectations to have Kojima there and not show Death Stranding or OD. I was like, everyone was like, oh,
I
clearly there will be a new Kojima trailer.
I
And
was
what's
very
funny,
surprised.
what was even funny too, because like at TGS when there was that huge, like almost 2 hour long presentation he had about Death Stranding 2, he was like, "Oh yeah, we know the release date. We have a trailer that's pretty much ready. We're just waiting for Sony to let us do it." So I was like, "Oh, it has to be the Game Awards." So that's why I was like, "That is so funny." That I was just like, "Man, they are still cooking with this thing."
That's kind of like that. Kind of reminds me of what's Blooper Team went through with the Silent Hill 2 remake. Like earlier in the year, there was like this message that basically boiled down to, hey, we got more we want to reveal about Silent Hill 2, like the release date and stuff. We're just waiting on Konami, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that is also another really weird one. I forgot about that one. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, I'm glad the show continues to get better.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm still. It's never a thing that I'm like hate watching. Of
Oh
like
no.
it's always a funny one of like I was talking about this a little bit on our Discord of just like, hey, I love watching this for the awards, for the reveals, and all the other stuff with it. But like at the end of the day, like if there was ever anything like more entertaining I could do than this, I would definitely drop it. But it's like no, like this is always like it is and always is a highlight for me.
No, for
Like
sure. Like,
of like this is like up there with like watching like Summer Game Fest and like E3 and stuff of like I really love doing this. Like we got a bunch of sushi that night. We just fucking made like an event out of it.
yeah. I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot of cynicism, but I feel like deep down, the people who watch like they don't really hate watch. They watch because, there's a level of enjoyment, like genuine like love and enjoyment for the Game Awards.
For sure.
And if they just keep getting better, like this show did, that's all the better.
No, I 100% agree. I guess we can go into the awards. So, as we had mentioned before, Atlus had a bunch of representation. Shockingly, nothing SMT5. I shouldn't say shocking on SMT5. Not surprised about SMT5. Shocking, nothing for P3R. Tweets
Good.
that still make me laugh are people who were like, I can't believe it wasn't nominated. Not only for like RPG, they were like, there are people out there who played P3R back in February, like, bro, this is the GOTY. Lock it in. No game will surpass this PS2 remake. And I'm like,
I was not one of those people.
it was funny because I think I even like said it on the show of like, dude, if the best game we get this year is P3R, that either means one of two things. We had a really bad year in games, or no other game came out that year.
Yeah. That sounds like me.
So that one was just like so funny to like see that reaction go around even after the Game Awards, and we'll kind of talk about it, especially with like who won Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just really funny of like watching some reactions and stuff with it. We had one nominee for Sim Strategy with Unicorn Overlord. I thought that was really cool to see it nominated, and then Metaphor I think was nominated for like 6 different categories. So
Yep.
Surprisingly, I think it's like tied as well. Metaphor is like I think either tied or maybe Bellatra or Astrobot may have won one more award. I'll tally it up when I'm looking through all the categories. But like it's funny is even though like spoiler alert, Metaphor didn't win Game of the Year, it still won a crazy amount of awards. It won even more awards than Final Fantasy VII did.
Yeah, I like I tweeted this. I was like, I didn't really expect Metaphor would win. In fact, I back in like mid-November, I made when the nominees dropped, I ranked the games, the nominees like from most to least likely to win. I had Astrobot at the top, which spoiler alert, nailed it, and Rebirth at the bottom. And well, actually, I'll just go through the list quick. I had Astrobot at the top, Wukong, Erdtree, Balatro, Metaphor, and then Rebirth.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this one in because now I'm curious when I go through this with it of Balatro, Astrobot, and Metaphor, which one ended up kind of getting more with it. I'm not sure if you'd have much of a takeaway with this one. I will say not shocking, but was glad to see Fallout win, mostly as a reminder for best adaptation, mostly as a reminder of, man, I still need to fucking watch that show, and then
It's a great show.
also following up by being like, please someone explain to me how and why the fuck Like a Dragon got nominated. Nobody liked that show. Nobody.
Well, it had a good 5th episode.
Can you imagine that? Like that's the back of the DVD box quote. Pretty good 5th episode, says Liam.
But yeah, that could be a whole podcast on its own, I feel like. But just quickly, I'll say like the Like a Dragon show. I get what they were trying to do. I just don't think they executed it well at all.
Listen, dude, I was hoping that they were going to prove us wrong, especially with all the stuff of like when they were like coming out there about being like, hey, we've watched the show, we want our actors to like do different things and stuff with it. Of like, listen,
I was for that, yeah.
Yeah, like if you can find a way to make this work, I'm here for it. And then the fact that it wasn't was just like, oh.
No,
okay.
I'm all for adaptations, making changes or trying to do their own thing. I mean, fucking look at Arcane. That's nothing like what League of Legends is like.
Oh yeah, that's like half the reason people like Arcane.
Exactly. So there's nothing wrong with trying something new. I just in Like a Dragon's case, they just they didn't quite get it right, to put it kindly. First episode though.
Yeah, so if you guys are looking forward to a 18-hour long Like a Dragon episode by episode breakdown, I'm sure that is coming any day now from the Camaro Bros. Any day
Honestly,
now.
if they didn't talk about it when it came out, they're not going to talk about it at all.
I would say, well, good thing there's not going to be any more not Yakuza news to distract it. But as we will talk about later, RGG Studios is apparently a never-ending factory of cranking shit out.
Oh yeah, we'll
I
get
will
there.
say, back to the awards, best multiplayer.
Uh,
Shockingly, I am shocked that Helldivers won. I was glad it did, but I was actually shocked that that's who took it.
do you have the nominees by chance?
Yeah, so for that one, it was Call of Duty, Helldivers, Mario Party, Tekken 8, and Warhammer. Warhammer, I mean, I guess for the co-op campaign, I definitely get that with it. But yeah, Helldivers winning that just because it had kind of a tumultuous like year of like really high, really
Yeah,
down, and then kind of went back up. So I wasn't
kind of
sure.
subtly down too.
Yeah, and I mean, I think especially the fact that like this award show had that big content update with it, like Helldivers is like now like just as popular as it was back earlier.
Yeah, I think the
Uh,
only reason Mario Party didn't win is because it caused too many murders.
I am more shocked Mario Party didn't win Family Game. I think we'll get to that one in a second, but I have some thoughts on that one, especially best family game.
Yeah.
Let's skip this one. Best Sim Strategy. I want to like point this out for a couple of different things. Best Sim Strategy, the nominees were Age of Mythology, Frostpunk 2, Kunitsugami, Manor Lords, and Unicorn Overlord. A legitimately great lineup. Like these are all really good games. Manor Lord is a debut game. Vanillaware is finally nominated. Kunitsugami is like a really out there original new IP for Capcom. Frostpunk 2 is a really big deal. Like Frostpunk 1 was huge, but was also a new IP. And then
Mm-hmm.
Age of Mythology is a remake of a really, really beloved game. Like it's a lot of variety for this category. And I will say a very niche category. I know not a lot of people are really into sim strategy, but
Right.
like I saw so much slander through like randoms on Twitter in the Atlus community, and even like a little bit through like other social media and like some videos of people being like, "What the fuck is Frostpunk 2? I can't believe Unicorn Overlord didn't win or Kunitsugami didn't win." And it's like it is so weird to me that like people can watch something like this, an award show that you have no say in who wins. Because remember, it's 90% jury, 10% fan vote,
Yeah.
and get like mad like there's either something rigged or like saying one game got robbed over another, and it's like what a weirdly like disrespectful thing to be like. Like I like again, if it was like something of like a clearly inferior game won a category over another. Like imagine if like we're not going to talk about best fighting game, but like imagine if Multiverses won over Tekken. Like yes, I can understand being upset in that case. That's like what the fuck
Yeah.
happened here. But like these are all really good games. And even if you're not into all of them, your first reaction shouldn't be what the fuck my thing didn't win. What the fuck is this bullshit?
Well, what I would just like to say is years of consuming Grammy shows, VMAs, Oscars,
Don't forget the
whatever,
Latin Grammys.
the Latin Grammys. Um, what I've come to learn from like all that, and of course the Game Awards, is that a lot of the times the awards just don't matter,
Yeah.
and they just don't matter because here's the thing: if a game receives an award, it shouldn't affect how you personally feel about the game. If a game you didn't like doesn't win an award, you don't, like it more or less. And same thing, if a game you like, doesn't win an award, you don't like it less. Like, oh, Metaphor didn't win Game of the Year. I guess I don't like it then. Or if it did win, it's like, oh, well then yeah, it's my favorite game. You're not going along with what the awards are doing. The awards are honestly the way I would put it. The awards are just like merit badges.
No, 100%.
They really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. They shouldn't personally like affect how you feel about the game. And the people who like get mad, again, we're jumping in the head here, but people who got mad that Astrobot won over whatever else, like their favorite game, it's like, who cares? Like, really, why do you care this much? Like, it's not going to change. It's not going to. The fact that Astrobot, won and, just Metaphor didn't, it's not gonna take away like review scores. It's not gonna decrease the Metacritic score, or it's not gonna increase it if it gets an award. It's like it doesn't matter. The awards are just like it's like set dressing in the grand scheme of things. It's just aesthetics.
Well, yeah, especially because like a great example, like you are not saying P3R is your game of the year, but if you see someone say, "Oh, well, Persona 3 Reload is my game of the year,"
yeah,
it doesn't make either one of you right or wrong. It's supposed to be like a conversation thing or a thing to jump off. If it's supposed to be like, "Oh, interesting."
I don't agree.
Let me
I don't agree,
why
but I respect.
feel that way. Yeah, so it's that funny thing of like, even if this was like the Jeff Awards, which they're not,
the Keeleys.
Like, yeah, like even if like these were like the Keeleys, and like Jeff is saying, no, guys, Frostpunk 2 is 100% better than Unicorn Overlord, it still doesn't change the fact that if you played Unicorn Overlord and think it's your favorite sim game of the year, you're still correct.
Yeah, I feel like the awards, the only people who these awards should matter most are the creators, not the people who not the consumers who played them.
100%.
Because for them, if they enjoy a game or not, winning or losing an award isn't going to change that. The awards are for the creators. If they win, it's a great achievement for them. And if they lose, of course, like it's a shame for sure, but that doesn't mean they're going to stop making games. At least I hope not.
No, and I mean, I think especially like obviously winning an award is a really good thing, especially it's nice to like put on your box. But with how many people are like with how many people like vote and do other things out there, I will never forget. It was like Dead Island 1. Dead Island 1 had a Game of the Year edition, and I remember all the news stories back then were, who the fuck voted Dead Island for their game? And by the way, I love Dead Island. Dead Island 1 is janky as fuck. But like, it was funny because I remember it was like some random like Russian site gave it like Game of the Year. They were like, okay, I guess, fucking we'll give it Game of the Year. But it's that thing of, I think the nominees really matter more than anything, especially like as long as someone out there is like saying, hey, you're the winner in my heart, like that's really all that should matter.
I mean, hell, there's probably at least one person out there who thought Dead Island was the best game that came out in 2011, and that was a stacked year.
Like, now, what I need to see, did someone vote Dead Island Riptide as Game of the Year? Then I'll have some words with
there. Has to be at least one. There has to be at least one person.
Some guy's like, bro, you don't understand. It's so good.
I mean, I'm gonna be completely upfront. I really liked Dead Island Riptide.
I don't know, but like anything about Game of the Year.
I mean, there's probably at least one. Like I said, there's for like every game out there. I'm sure there's at least one person who considers it their favorite.
By the way, that game came out in 2013.
I remember
that year was. Oh my god, that is so wild. I just realized that it took 10 years from Dead Island Riptide to Dead Island 2. That is wild.
And I remember like that trailer for Dead Island 2, like the jogging one with the
guy.
Yeah, the guy jogging with and all the like chaos around him, but he doesn't notice. Like that was like what, 2014, 2015? They switched developers like several times.
I think 3 or 4 times. No, it was 2014 because I was at the theater where they showed that trailer because I remember that E3.
I used to play that song a lot. Pigeon John, the bomb.
That was a good trailer, dude.
We'll wake up in the morning to the clear blue sky. Sorry.
I was just like, hold on. There was like, oh yeah, that was like The Last of Us and other ones because I was like, what were some Game of the Years from 2013? I was like, bro,
Saints Row
literally
4
like
or Black Flag.
One, not a single person in that year. Okay, I shouldn't say not a single. Saints Row 4, I love Saints Row 4, but I'm like, bro, that is not even like top 5 that year. Like, think GTA.
It'd be mine.
Link Between Worlds. What do you mean you would put Saints Row 4 is your like top 3 games of 2013? BioShock Infinite.
Saints Row 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, so yes.
I fucking love Saints
It'd
Row
probably
4.
be number one. It'd probably be my number one of that year. Like I'd have to look at what else came out to refresh myself. But honestly, Saints Row 4 would probably be like my number one for that year.
That is a wild statement. You're not wrong, but that is a wild ass statement.
That could be a fun podcast topic, just like going through like all the games of the year, and then like picking our top fives.
Man, yeah, no, I love going back and looking at ones like that with it. Let's see though. So next category, best family game. I don't disagree with this because of like what the better game was. The choices were Plucky Squire, Zelda, Mario Party, Princess Peach Showtime, and Astrobot. I think if this award was named differently, I would probably agree of like best game for all ages or something. But like the description is for best game appropriate for the family play. For family play, which I can just in my brain makes me just think like, okay, so this is a game you would want to play with your family, not a game your whole family could play together. So then in my brain, I'm just like, yeah, well, it has to be Mario Party then.
Well, I guess they mean it as both.
It's just so weird because it's like, trust me, I see how most people play like games with the family. You're either playing or you're like just leaving your child there. Yeah, like it's not it's not an active thing. Best RPG.
Here we go.
I'm glad Metaphor won, but
I honestly didn't expect Metaphor to win.
No, and I will say this though, because I continually say this, and again I haven't played it. I think if you look at the nominees, Dragon's Dogma, Elden Ring, Final Fantasy VII, and Yakuza 8 and Metaphor, I think Yakuza 8 stands out, at least to me, of like, I don't know who thought this game was going to win, but I'm glad you got nominated.
Yeah. I mean,
those games are all so big.
Well, I saw it get nominated, so I didn't expect it to win. Honestly, I thought, say the nominees again, quick.
So Metaphor, Yakuza 8, Final Fantasy VII, Shadow of the Erd Tree, and Dragon's Dogma.
See, I honestly thought Rebirth would take that one because I knew it wouldn't get Game of the Year at all, and I figured whatever game won like RPG that was also nominated for Game of the Year, it's like, okay, well, they're not winning then. So when Metaphor was announced, I was watching in the utility closet at my work, and I literally like jumped like in circles. Allegedly, yes, correct. I like jumped up and I was like, yes. And I think I punched the cardboard box too down there just out of excitement. But my next thought after that, once it came down from the excitement, I was like, oh, it's not winning Game of the Year. Like, it's definitely not winning. No shot.
That's funny. I was kind of in the opposite of every award it won. I was optimistic and I wanted Metaphor to win just in a like way of like, and I mean I would have been happy if Final Fantasy won or even Dragon's Dogma or even like Yakuza or even Erd Tree, but of just being like really really surprised at each win of like I remember like tweeting about them all being like oh my god. And it was funny like ironically the more awards it kept winning the more I thought it was possible, like I was getting filled with more hopium.
I mean after that, yeah. I mean, even though I say that, once I saw it win Best RPG, I was like, oh, it's probably not going to win Game of the Year. But the fact that after that, before that, it won Art Direction, and then after that, again jumping ahead, it won Narrative. It's like, oh, so okay, so like maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's a chance. But anyway, let's keep going with the categories.
Yes, so I'm going through just so I can tally up any other awards for Balatro and Astrobot that I'm possibly missing. Let's see here.
I mean, Balatro sweeping the indie categories. That was
no, not surprising at all. I do want to give a shout out, really, really big shout out to Prince of Persia winning one award for accessibility. Mostly just so people are aware that game exists because Lost Crown is really fucking good, and
that's on my. I haven't bought it yet, but it's on my list to play. I want to play it.
Is so cheap. It's like $15 right now for the holidays.
I know. don't know if it's discounted on Xbox. I need to double check that.
Oh, but yeah, you're right, because you got a Series S. Ubisoft usually does do a pretty good job with that, but
I mean, Ubisoft games go on sale like before they even come out.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. Next one I want to talk about, best score and music. This was such a tough one. Astrobot, Final Fantasy, Metaphor, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. I remember like watching this, and as like the like preview was going, it was just like, this is one of like, I can't imagine being mad at any of these. They're all so good.
Like, well, I can make a case for Silent Hill 2. Well, sorta.
I haven't beaten it or even like I played it, but from what I've heard of Silent Hill 2, Akira Yamaoka does some crazy good like arrangements.
I mean, it's basically just he remade his original soundtrack. So if he had won, I wouldn't have.
I think you're correct. I would have been
happy for him.
The fact that Silent Hill 2 was also nominated for Best Narrative is also a funny one. I think people would have probably given it some shit for that, of like game from 20 years ago wins Best Story again.
Because the thing is, because Akira Yamaoka, because for staying on score, if Silent Hill 2 had won, at least the award would have gone to the original composer who redid his original music. If I know Rebirth won, but let's imagine Persona 3 Reload got nominated for best soundtrack. I know they added a couple new songs, but for the most part it's just Kitajo rearranged or just remaking pretty much note for note like all of Megaro's original tracks. And if he had won for that, I kind of would have been a little mad, because even if he gave credit to Meguro in his speech, of course this is all purely hypothetical, I probably would have been, I still would have been mad, because like, okay, why are we giving this award to this music from this game from now what, 18 years, because Persona 3 was what, 2006?
Yeah, it'd be 18 years ago.
18 years, yeah. And so the remake soundtrack done by someone else gets the award, and that just would have rubbed me the wrong way.
I think it would open up more of a conversation with it, but I mean, Silent Hill 2 is such an interesting remake, because even unlike something like a Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, it adds almost like twice as much game as the original one, and has so much of the original team.
Well, some say that's not a good thing.
No, exactly. And again, it kind of goes back to, it at least brings up the conversation.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy winning, I'm really glad, because like, holy fuck, the budget on, and I've said this since Remake 1, but especially with Rebirth, when you look and you listen to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that game's soundtrack budget is bigger than the entire budget of like OG Persona 5. It is such a flex, it's insane. My only kind of complaint with it winning is that like they didn't have any of the sound team there. It was really nice to have the director there and give a speech about it. By the way, he looked so shocked when he went on stage. He was like, "Oh wow, I didn't think we were actually going to win this one." I would have loved to have heard from the actual composers, because the sound team who works on the remake games is actually the people who worked on the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy soundtrack. It's a whole bunch of different composers, so obviously it's not like as easy as just being like, here's one guy who worked on it. But really, really crazy to have that win, was such a good one. But again, in my gut, I was just kind of like, Astrobot is really fun and catchy and whimsical. Final Fantasy is grand, nostalgic, but new and fresh. Metaphor, again, kind of goes back to the, like, original, unique. You haven't heard it. Silent Hill 2 goes back to the Final Fantasy thing. And even Stellar Blade. Like, Stellar Blade is like, man, hey, do you remember Nier? Well, what if we just did more Nier? And it was still really fucking good. And it's like, yeah, all of these just fucked really, really hard. I'm very glad Final Fantasy won, but like, this is such a tough one of like, even now I'm like, I don't even know, especially just because I haven't heard every song from all the categories of like, I wouldn't be shocked if I got swayed.
I would just like, I'm just sad that Metaphor didn't win in this category, because even though it won in like art direction and narrative, because how great would it have been to the fact that Hashino, Sojima, and Meguro, like all three of them, like won an award. Like I think that would have been a great hat trick, but not quite.
See, in the world where Metaphor won Best OST is where it won Game of the Year. Like, it
Yeah.
needed that one more award for people to then be like, okay, we're going to give it to you.
Yeah.
So, next
I'm gonna
up...
go back in time. I'm gonna go back in time and cancel Final Fantasy.
No!
just for this year. Push it back to 2026 or 25. Anyway.
So, next up, we got Best Art Direction. Metaphor did win this one.
Yes.
This was another one of like...
I didn't see that coming.
Really? When I look at the category, I'm kind of like, I wouldn't have been mad. I definitely would be like, okay, how did this not win? So the nominees were Astrobot, Neva, Black Myth, Wukong, Elden Ring, and Metaphor. And I'm like,
I also thought
bro,
Neva would win.
no way, dude. Neva's just like a more pretty Grease. Like, it's still like, you've seen Neva before, you've seen Elden Ring before. Black Myth,
I know, but it's like Oscar bait.
kinda.
Like
By the way, I've got beef with Neva winning games for Impact, but I think that's just because that award was kind of fucked this year. There wasn't like, I was like, what was the impact the world had from playing Neva? Animal dying is sad.
I'm just petting my cat quick.
So, oh, by the way, I guess I should say is, I have not played Neva. I'm just assuming that wolf dies. I'm like, listen, what other story do we have with animals? Like, we've peaked as a society in terms of when you love an animal in media, it has to die. That's the only way we know it to grow. Maybe it changes. Maybe the world dies instead. But I think realistically, Astrobot is not here for its looks or even its like presentation. Even though it is gorgeous, I think it was Black Myth or Metaphor's game to win, and I don't think there's enough Western interest in how interesting of a job it did at adapting Journey to the West. I think Black Myth Wukong looks like incredibly great. I think it has really good style and presentation. But Metaphor is like, dude, you look at that game, like one screenshot of Metaphor, and you just like, it oozes so much personality.
For real. No, it's a beautiful game.
The final award from Metaphor, which honestly, another very close one. / I had some weird questions. Best Narrative, Metaphor won. It was its final award. It won 3 awards that night. The nominees were Final Fantasy VII, Yakuza 8, Metaphor, Silent Hill 2, and Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2
is my pick to win, honestly.
What?
Well, like, I'm not saying no. I should clarify. Not my pick, like, oh, my personal pick. My pick,
okay, like, that's what I was like.
My betting pick. If I was a betting man.
Because everyone I know who played Hellblade 2 was like, the acting was great and the sound was great, and they won both of those categories that night, which, like, again, made sense. Not my personal pick, but made sense. And everyone who played Hellblade 2 that I ever heard of it was like, the gameplay was worse and the story was worse. And I'm like, who voted Hellblade 2 with best narrative like this much? I was so surprised that it got nominated in the top 5.
But the fact that it was up there made me think, oh, that's probably gonna, again, it's like the Oscar baity pick. So that's why that's why I thought it was gonna win. But the fact that Metaphor took it just made me so excited.
As a Yakuza 8 guy, would you say is Yakuza 8 like top tier narrative?
No.
That's like, like, this is
it's really good. It's a really good narrative. But in terms of like even just like ranking it like with like the past Yakuza stories, like I said, I think 7 had a better story than 8. 8 just felt like 8 was really good up until like it was starting to wrap up. Some of it just felt like it's like, how do I put this? It felt like part of the ending, actually part of like stuff before, it felt like it had just stuff missing in its plot. Like there was some resolution that needed to happen that didn't happen. So, I would definitely call Yakuza 8 story really good, just not great.
Which I think definitely makes sense. It's the funny thing as well with it, like Final Fantasy like 7, definitely not a perfect narrative, but like I think of some of the other games that have come out this year, whether I've played them or heard from it like alone, and ironically it was too late for voting. One of the ones that like I'm so shocked that I keep hearing from people who are playing it, of people just being like, "Yo, I don't know why, but this fucking story in Indiana Jones is really good."
No, no, like legit, it is legitimately the best Indiana Jones story since Crusade.
But I mean, even with the Indiana Jones thing, there is that big one of like the funny thing about Great Circle is people being like, "Oh yeah, this is like one of the best Indiana Jones games ever." But if you took Indiana Jones out of this, people would be like, "Oh, it is not that interesting."
I can't really see that. I don't know. Maybe I haven't finished it. Like I said, I'm still really early on. Um, but no, honestly, it had Indiana Jones come out either earlier or later and just been up for I think it would have been up for next year's awards.
I Considering how hyped and well reviewed it is, I almost actually wouldn't be shocked if it at least gets a nom.
It might be. It still might be.
I mean, next year's going to be insane though in terms of nominees with it. But yeah, Metaphor winning, definitely one I was happy to see. Can't comment on too much with it, but is one that I'm like kind of like, hey, I'm glad you won. But the nominees alone were enough to kind of just be like, that's a little bit, it's a little bit
Yeah.
odd.
I can't. I don't want to go. Of course, I can't go into detail because you haven't finished it. But there is a part, not quite in the middle, but like in the last third, that legitimately I teared up, like made me
Okay.
tear up. And it wasn't like at the end. It was like, so it's after you get after you get all the party members. There's I can't even, honestly, I can't remember like the month exactly, but you get all the party members and then you go somewhere and something happens and a character has a moment. I won't say who. And they start crying, and then I like almost started crying because just everything that I like led up to that, and just thinking about it, yeah, it was just like, oh man, I'm getting choked up.
I mean,
So any
hey,
game that makes me cry, that's an automatic like thumbs up from me.
oh, dude, I'm a fucking baby. I cry over fucking Kingdom Hearts cutscenes. I feel like I'm like, not that I cry at anything, but I'm like, I'm definitely not hard to make crying games, but it's like you just gotta know the right buttons to press.
Nah, for real.
Um, let's see here. And then yeah, last but not least, we had Game of the Year, and I tallied them up. Astrobot, I forgot, also won Best Game Direction.
Oh
That
yeah.
is the extra award that Astrobot won along with Game of the Year. So Balatro and Metaphor were tied for second most game awards won.
So three.
Balatro won 3, Metaphor won 3, and Astrobot won 4, including Game of the Year.
Okay.
So we had for nominees on Game of the Year, in case anyone forgot, Metaphor, Final Fantasy VII, Elden Ring, Black Myth, Balatro, and Astrobot. Literally, fucking Balatro could have won, and I would have been happy. This is one of the weird years of like I liked, or at least was very interested in every game that got nominated, even if I hadn't played it. Because normally there's at least always like one game that I'm kind of like, yeah, doesn't call out to me, doesn't do this or that with it.
Yeah.
That like there was no way at least myself, I was going to be upset with it winning. Oh God, talking about other really really good speeches. As much as I would have loved to have seen like the speech if Atlus had won Game of the Year with Metaphor, and I'm glad we did get a speech for them to come up when they did win. What was it? Best
Narrative.
narrative. Yeah, I'm glad that that Katase and not Katase, but when
Ashino.
when Hashino and Sojima got to go up there, I'm at least glad that they had a speech. I would have been interested to hear what their other speeches would have been, especially with like art and music.
Yeah.
But the speech that Team Asobi did for Game of the Year, I thought was 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, obviously since I don't have a PS5, I didn't play Astrobot, but around the time it came out, I was listening to a podcast, the Fronts Per Second podcast, shout out, and they had an interview with that game, with the game director of
Nicholas
Astrobot.
Dussault.
Yeah, and just like hearing how he talked about like Astrobot and like the making of, like I really got like I kind of got like a warm and fuzzy feeling, because even if I didn't get to experience it myself, I could feel it, that the joy that people who played Astrobot got out of it. So when it won, my first reaction was disappointment because Metaphor didn't win, but that quickly like passed, and eventually I was like, you know what, good for them, good for them.
The whole like surrounding, by the way, and this kind of goes back to the Unicorn Overlord thing, I will say, if you are someone who has not played these games and also want to be someone who's like, oh man, oh man, like, oh man, why did like this dumb robot game win? Or like, man, I can't even imagine how unbearable, not unbearable, because obviously it's easy to ignore it. I can't imagine how stupid the internet would have been if Balatro won, even though I think Balatro is completely deserving to be nominated for Game of the Year.
No, agree.
Just like, it would be so funny with like all these takes of it, because like the funny thing about Game of the Year, any of these games could have won and people still would have shit on it. People would have been like, why did the Monkey game win? Why did the PS1 remake win? Why did the dumb Persona
why did the
5
JRPG win?
Yeah, no, like people would still find ways to shit on the game no matter what won.
I thought Jeff hated JRPGs.
So it's always really kind of funny about like taking, I think, the overall kind of consensus away, especially much like we were kind of doing with 2013. I think if you look back at the winners of most of the game awards, especially for like this award show, like who really wins, the only really controversial year they've ever had, and I think it's just because of how weird of a game it is, and we'll get to it later with Intergalactic. I think when you look back at The Last of Us 2 winning, that's just one of those things of like, because of how polarizing that game is, I 100% agree that game should have won. But it's like, yeah, if you're someone who fucking hates The Last of Us and that game wins, it's just like nails on a chalkboard to some people out there.
Oh, sure.
But like, there's a difference between like, I really didn't like that game and I thought it was like completely rigged or like BS.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who just like they'll just like disagree, shrug, and like move on. And then there's most people, too many people, unfortunately, who just like make hating the Game of the Year winner like their entire personality.
Any last takeaways or things you want to talk about for either the categories or any of the winners before we get into talking about what was announced?
Not off the top of my head. I do want to say I just just small shout out. I liked how 4 of the 5 performers nominated were women. I thought that was just really cool.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's another category of like, my only complaints are there were so many great actors this year of like, listen, dude, give the entire voice cast of Metaphor its own category, and like there were so many great actors and actresses like out there.
Yeah. I think like if I were to give like at least one nomination to someone from Metaphor, absolutely Luis's performer, just phenomenal job as of it sucks I don't have his name pulled up.
I can pull it up for you in a second. Did you have any, especially as a music lover such as yourself? I thought this was the best medley, Game of the Year medley they did ever.
Joseph Tweedale is the voice actor for Luis. So definitely shout out to him. I think he should have gotten a nomination. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I was saying, as a music lover like yourself, what did you think of the Game of the Year medley? So like, instead of normally nominating, because like I was like, with how crazy diverse the lineup was for it, it was like it was so funny to like hear all these different like RPG songs sounding
Yeah.
so different. And then like by the way, like the synth work, because I think Metaphor is really easy. Metaphor and Astrobot are really easy to like pick out for like their like really notable songs they used. The
Hmm.
the theme and the synth that they used
Dude, they
for
had a guitar.
Balatro was so fucking good.
They had a guitar up there. I don't think I've seen that at the Game Awards before.
No, we need more. Yeah, I want to see like how we made a flute guy come back. We need to
Still,
see a
still the
guitar guy come
MVP.
back.
Still the
Yeah,
MVP of the
he.
of the
I
Game
do.
Awards.
Did you notice by the way he brings out like a different flute for every game? It's like
Yeah.
I gotta get it. I gotta get another one. I gotta get another one.
I mean, listen, as like a composer myself, and someone who like studied like composition, I get that. I totally get it. You need like you need these different timbres for, especially if you're doing a medley of like all these games and have to like kind of switch things up from game to game. So I totally get that, and mad respect for him.
Let me see
But no,
here.
it was a great medley. I just want to also I do want to point out the fact that Metaphor got presented first. That was my final nail. I was like, oh, it's not winning. The game, whichever game they start the medley with, zero chance of winning.
I will say there. I would love to hear more. Like I would love to like learn about how they get write that arrangement sheet for all of them, because I'm like that can't be easy to come up with in such a short amount of time for so many different sounding video game songs.
No, I'm sure they have like They have like a whole team of like arrangers and maybe not composers, but like arrangers
But
who maybe like communicate with like the actual games like composers to hopefully make their jobs easier.
yeah, that is a good point. I didn't even think about that. Of like, obviously, it's not like they have to like get get their like sign off with it, but it would probably be easier if they get like at least the like music or sheet work for it.
Yeah, they probably get
So
like they probably ask like, do you have a song, do you that you in particular that you want us to add, or are you just okay with like a song like we decide to pick it? Because I'm sure they have to be prepared to some degree even before they start the arrangements. So I'm sure like maybe they have a song in mind already, and then there's got to be a lot of communication between them and the actual composers.
let me see. So all right, I've got a list of hopefully all of the big or notable games that got announced. We're not going to do this in any super specific order.
Okay.
Mostly just kind of like a, hey, what did you think of this or that, and kind of different takeaways from it. My first big one, just because I think a lot of people are going to sleep on it because it doesn't seem as big right away, but as a huge Fumito Ueda fan, the Project Robot trailer that they showed off, it was the kind of like alien looking world of him climbing onto like the really big robot head before like
Oh
a
yeah.
giant shockwave. I think that like that was a trailer I watched and I was like, I want to watch this on like an IMAX screen with like surround sound, because I felt like the design and like the look and everything for it was like so good, and it was like, man, I have been thirsting thirsting 9 long years for a new Fumito Ueda game. I cannot believe it's been almost 10 years since The Last Guardian. So like the fact that like I'm glad the game's coming. It's so funny to me to like think much like Alan Wake 2, like that Epic locked this game down, but I'm just like, I love all those games. I love Eco, Last Guardian, Shadow of the Colossus. I think all those games are fantastic.
Mm.
And I can't wait to like check it out. But I thought that was such a cool trailer of like, it answers almost no questions, gives you a cool idea of what it looks like, and still I have no idea what the hell that gameplay is going to be like, but I'm like, I'm in. He's one of those creators that like he could hand me a sticky note with an idea for a game and I'd be like, you have all my money, dude.
He might as well just hand you a blank check.
Yes. Do you have like either like if not a trailer or announcement of the show, like anything that like stood out to you like first and foremost of like, oh my god, like this was the big like trailer for me?
Witcher 4.
Witcher 4, what a flex of a trailer, by the way. It was a 6.5 minute long trailer.
Yeah. That was, I think that was like the first big announcement of like, well, at least of the main show.
Yeah, it was.
And I was like,
opener.
wow. I was like, wow, way to start with that. I see. If they didn't have Okami 2, like that would have been a perfect. I think that would have been like a perfect like final reveal. But the fact that Witcher 4 opened like the announcements, I was like, holy shit! I loved that trailer. At first I was like kind of curious. I was like what this could be, but then they said Witcher, and I immediately knew, oh, it's Ciri. Like it's not Geralt, it's Ciri. Well, I mean, not to really spoil much, but Witcher 3 kind of implies it's Geralt. It's the end of Geralt's saga. Implies take that however you will, but the fact that Ciri is the protagonist, and they did confirm that Geralt is going to be in Witcher 4. They didn't say to what capacity.
Fucking the voice actor of Geralt said as much.
Said what, that he didn't know, like.
No. I forget the name of the actor who plays Geralt.
Doug Cockle.
He got in trouble a year or two ago. Yeah, he just like out of nowhere was like, oh yeah, I'll be on the new Witcher.
I mean, we kind of knew. I think it's not really a secret that they've been working on a new Witcher game. I think they announced that. I want to say in 2022.
Yeah, it's been a little over 2 years. And then what's funny about it was a week ago before the Game Awards that they had just entered full production on the game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the fact that they had a trailer, it's like, man, they just cooked up that trailer in a week.
I mean, I think with all CD Projekt Red games though, it's like, hey man, you guys have no problem selling your games to us. You just need to make sure that when they come out, that the game does not come out looking janky as fuck.
Cyberpunk.
Oh, dude, all their games, like even Witcher 1, 2, and 3, all launched rough.
Nah, not as bad as Cyberpunk.
No, that was a big one. But I mean, think about it. Even Witcher 1 and 2 were not really fixed until like the enhanced edition of both came out.
Well, Witcher 1 came out at a time where we didn't have patches. Exactly.
I always like wonder, especially with Witcher, like Witcher is such a funny franchise of like how many people like Persona fans always give each other shit about no one played it until the third game. Witcher is such a funny one of like, dude, if I ever meet people who played Witcher 1 and 2, I'm like, whoa, it's a unicorn.
I'm sure 2 is like not that hard to find because 2 was like multi-platform, whereas 1 was PC only.
2 was funny though. 2 was only on 360 and was a really, really late 360 game too.
It came to PS3. No, it came to 360. No.
There was rumors of a PS3 version, but because CD Projekt didn't have the budget at the time, they weren't able to do it. The Witcher never came to PlayStation until Witcher 3.
You're right. Oh yeah, it was only PC and 360. Oh wow. I did not realize that.
Yeah, but even as like an outsider for it, that trailer for Witcher 4, I was just like, this looks fucking great.
I was blown away. We don't have to get into the quote unquote controversy considering or around Ciri's appearance. It's because it's not controversy.
I was like, dude, the fact that like I've seen like some people try to make a not like I'm giving them any flack for it, but like. Sorry, not that I'm giving them any slack for it. I'm definitely giving flack. If you look at the design of the main character from like Intergalactic and you're like, that's not my aesthetic, I'm like, listen, okay, whatever, I get it. The fact that people are like holding up screenshots of like Ciri from Witcher 3 to 4 and be like, what a downgrade. I'd be like, I can't believe like now we know where the Concord character designer went. I'm like, dude, you are huffing so much paint. Like she still looks so good.
She just looks like she's aged. That's like what 10, 15 years of fucking monster slaying will do to you. I mean, look at Geralt.
Yeah, spoilers, everybody. People age.
Yeah, it's gonna happen to you.
That one was so funny
But
as
anyway,
well.
yeah,
Especially the fact the wild thing about that trailer was what a crazy flex of just being like the little disclaimer at the bottom of like running on unannounced Nvidia tech.
yeah, I kind of laughed at that. Honestly, it's like, oh, we're really doing this too, huh?
Yeah, they got they're beta testing not the 50 series, they're beta testing the 6800. But the Witcher trailer I thought was really really good. I thought was a great like opening for sure. And I guess actually kind of with it cuz I'd be curious where you're at with it just because we're doing the controversial trailer talk. What did you think of Intergalactic? I would say if it wasn't for Project Robot, Intergalactic, in terms of like a trailer with big substance, that was my trailer of the show of like new Naughty Dog IP, fucking brand new soundtrack and game OST coming from Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. It's been in development for like 4 fucking years. I'm like, let's go. Like this, like I was like eating that entire trailer up, and then the fact that like all the little Easter eggs I missed, I was like, I could not be happier with that trailer.
Well, I will say I did like the inclusion of Pet Shop Boys.
Oh,
I'm a sucker
Pet
for
Shop Boys.
I'm a sucker for any like game trailer that uses licensed music. Or
Oh my god, that was another funny
music.
one of seeing people try to make a non-traversy out of like, oh man, look at all the product placement in this game. I'm like, bro, the fact that like you see the word Porsche or like you see like Adidas shoes, it's like ironically like I think the product placement in like Spider-Man 2 is a good example of like that was some dumb product placement. This was one that like that felt so natural to me. I didn't like get taken out of it at all.
Nah.
Versus like you're talking to a guy over here who actually misses the Monster Energy drink branding in Death Stranding.
Honestly, I didn't even notice the adverts. I mean, I noticed the Porsche. But aside from that, I didn't even notice. Well, Porsche and Sony, but I figured it's whatever.
I mean, it was a CD player, and I was like, hey, when you
Yeah.
think of CD players, you probably think of Sony.
Now, if the cup she was drinking out of was like In and Out, I would have been like, okay, someone clearly bribed someone.
Big In and Out money over here.
But yeah, the Intergalactic trailer, I feel neutral about it. I don't really know what it is yet exactly. I mean, I saw it was from Naughty Dog, which honestly that was the biggest surprise for me. I just like, oh wow, so Naughty Dog are finally making something that isn't Last of Us or an Uncharted remaster.
I'm so shocked of like, and ironically the internet likes to say a lot that like, oh, we all knew Naughty Dog was announcing a new game soon. And I was like, yeah, that is true because like we all knew they were working on something besides Last of Us multiplayer. But like my gut was just like, I feel like especially where The Last of Us 2 ended, I was like, if they are not working on something new, I was like, they have to be working on The Last of Us 3. And then it was funny because there was that documentary that came out a couple of months back for The Last of Us 2 of how that was made. And then what was funny about it was like, oh yeah, like we have an idea for 3, but like clearly it was not their main game they're working on. And I was like, that's crazy, but it makes so much more sense, especially because they've been doing interviews now of them just being like, hey, there was a lot of critical feedback. They lost a lot of people due to the crunch of 2, and they wanted to change a lot of stuff like that with it. That like I totally understand that one made a lot more sense. And then the funny thing, so like I was going to say, the reason we kind of knew this was happening, and I was kind of surprised he was allowed to like admit this, just because it tipped the hat a lot of a new Naughty Dog game is getting announced. Was the art director from God of War announced this week that he had joined Naughty Dog. And everyone was like, okay, well, clearly this dude is not working on Last of Us.
I didn't see that. That's really interesting.
I forget the name of him, but yeah, he's a super crazy good artist. If you look up like any of the concept art or the official designs from God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, I know especially he was the art director on Ragnarok.
Hmm.
The fact that he announced he's with the new game for Intergalactic, I'm like, okay, this makes a lot more sense. I guess kind of controversial, mostly just because I thought that this was fucking insane and has now actually convinced me to want to watch Secret Level now. What did you think of Shadow Labyrinth, the
Well, actually,
Pac-Man Metroidvania?
just to finish up my thoughts on Intergalactic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, I'm neutral. I don't really know what to expect, but just the fact that it's a new original Naughty Dog project, I have some level of interest for it. Um, I'm just waiting to see more. Honestly, I personally wouldn't have ended the show with it. I feel like Okami 2 was like big enough to end the show on its own. But yeah, I probably would have put Intergalactic's announcement like in the middle, or hell,
Interesting.
probably have that be the opener.
I'm surprised you say that, but I mean, there were so many crazy announcements that like you could rearrange them even if you flipped
Yeah,
them open with Intergalactic and end with Witcher. I think people would still be happy.
yeah. That's just I'm just speaking like my personal feelings. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect from Intergalactic. I mean, if it's Naughty Dog, so it's probably going to be PlayStation exclusive, which means I probably won't play it. But
How long until we get a Beastie Boys song in one of those trailers?
if we get Paul Revere, I will buy a PS5. I will buy it day one.
Oh my
Now
god! I didn't, out of
here's a little
all the
story I
songs
got
to
to
pick, that
tell.
is not the one I was thinking you were gonna do. That is so funny.
It's my favorite Beastie Boys song, honestly. Paul Revere. Although if they get a trailer with Sabotage, I also won't complain.
Ooh yeah, fuck! I love Sabotage.
Listen, all y'all.
All right,
Sorry.
so
Yeah. So Secret Level, what was it?
no, so not Secret Level, but kind of related. What the fuck did you think of that Metroidvania Pac-Man game, Shadow Labyrinth? I'm in.
I probably missed that.
So
Honestly,
that was at the pre-show. The pre-show was
oh yeah, I
weird.
definitely missed that.
The pre-show. By the way, I highly recommend you look up this trailer, like after the show or whatever. It's
Yeah.
called Shadow Labyrinth. It comes
Shadow
out
Labyrinth.
in like beginning of the year in 2025. It is literally a dark alternative take Metroidvania set with Pac-Man ideas, like the ghost, the maze, the like literally Pac-Man like follows you around and eats demons. It looks fucking insane.
All right, I will definitely look that up. I just hope it doesn't turn out like that like the gritty Bomberman reboot.
It's definitely kind of goes for that vibe, but I think what they showed, it sells it more.
Yeah.
Especially just because it is such a different kind of game. Sort of a similar thing of like, hey, bringing back a classic, but in a way more, I'm here for it.
I guess or I guess with a more to use a more recent example, Contra Rogue Core from 5 years ago.
Oh god,
which brought back Contra
and
yeah, just completely ruined it.
So a great example of bringing back a franchise in a way that I was glad was not how I feared it might come back. The pre-show started with Ninja Gaiden. Did you see the trailer for the new Ninja Gaiden game?
No, I missed the pre-show entirely because I was working on at a station where I couldn't have an earbud in, so I missed the entire pre-show.
All right, so Ninja Gaiden, mostly known nowadays for Ninja Gaiden Black, Ninja Gaiden
Classic.
2, and Ninja Gaiden 3. And the funny thing about Ninja Gaiden is the original like side-scrolling ones. So Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is a reimagined version of the first game.
Ooh.
In 2D pixel art.
Hell yeah.
And it is made by the Blasphemous devs.
Ooh.
and looks fucking amazing. Soundtrack
Well,
sounds great. Very, very excited for this one, especially because like my big worry was if Team Ninja made a new Ninja Gaiden, I was just worried that it would just be more Neo. Like, and I like Neo. I like how those games play. We've just gotten a lot of them, like Final Fantasy, Stranger of Paradise, Neo, and even Rise of the Ronin. Like, it's a lot of that kind of game. I mean, fuck, even Wukong. Like, not Wukong. The Chinese one. Actually, that might have been Wukong. No,
I think it is Wukong.
There's a like
Wo
Chinese
Wolong,
like
right?
like Wolong. Thank you. Yes, Wukong and Wolong. Yes, a lot of just like similar like games, and it was just like I don't need Ninja Gaiden to play like this, but I want Ninja Gaiden to come back because it's been so long since there's been a good game in that series, and like for this to be the way of bringing it back by a new developer, but still being an officially licensed Ninja Gaiden game by Koei Tecmo. But what's crazy, not published by them. It's actually published by Emu.
Oh, really?
So like the guys who did Streets of Rage 4, like Metal Slug Tactics. By the way, crazy publisher.
Did they do Double Dragon Neon?
No, that was Way Forward and D3. But sort of similar, like kind of like mind frame and everything with it. But like, yeah, really, really, really sick trailer that I thought like for a pre-show like opening one, I was like, wow, what a whip your dick out way to start the start the show.
I mean, they started as they mean to go on, whipping dicks up.
Yes, and by the way, because we were talking about this before, like a week before the show we were like, hey, there's a pretty good chance Atlus announces something here.
Yeah.
Sega's going to be there. There's a lot of announcement. There's a lot of attention towards Sega and Atlus games. So, like, what do you think we're going to see there? I was talking to a friend of the show, Patrick, and he was like, yeah, like...
Macca?
No. I was talking to my friend Patrick, and he was like...
Oh,
sorry. There were some unlisted videos added recently to Atlus, like their Japanese YouTube page, and I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, like obviously, I think it ended up just being like reactions to winning the Game Awards, or just like, hey, like reminders about some other things or ads that were coming up, but it got people's heads thinking of like, hey, we're kind of in a time where Persona 6 could get announced, like Metaphor is out, like I think it was like LaRue, but like someone brought up like a great point. Like on the worst of cases, I mean, obviously the worst cases we get nothing, which is what happened. But the worst of announcements we could get would be like a Raito collection finally getting announced. Like we know that's coming. Let's just announce it already. And then like the craziest announcements would be like new IP or like Persona 6. And then it's kind of funny that like not only we didn't get anything, but Sega had 3 major announcements. Sorry, let me phrase that actually properly. RGG Studios had 2 crazy announcements, and then Sonic fucking Racing came out and like was like a you blink and you miss it trailer.
So the thought I had about that, and it's the thought I had like after the show was over. I guess I'm not surprised that Atlus didn't announce anything because they had Metaphor up, and I feel like they just wanted to have Metaphor have its night. I mean, I say that with the knowing now that Metaphor won some awards. If it won nothing, it would have been sad. But I just
God, that would have been really sad actually.
I just my thought was, okay, I don't think Atlus were gonna announce anything here because they want to have Metaphor breathe on its own, let it hopefully win some awards, which thankfully it did. But now that Metaphor has its awards, that's all done. I feel like we could get an announcement fairly soon. Like probably early 2025 is my prediction. Like I feel like by the end of March at the latest, Atlus will have announced something. I don't know what exactly. I have maybe Persona 6, maybe Raito Collection, but I feel like we might get something at at some point during that time frame. But it's Atlus. For all we know, they could like leak something tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's really weird because like, yeah, there's just so many different weird things that kind of are with it. Of like, I could wake up tomorrow, and if you told me that they tweeted out an announcement or had like a big stream planned, I would believe either or.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of one of those funny things of just being like, yeah, honestly, it's really kind of dealer's choice for whatever happens, but at the same time, like we mentioned, there were so many fucking games this year. I don't need another game announced right now. Like, you could take a break. You're clearly not going to, but like, I'm not dying for more content.
I mean, hell, remember when Sega was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have Persona 3 Reload drop February 2nd, and then exactly 1 week before that, we're gonna drop Infinite Wealth, and it's like, guys, you can't just drop like 2 JRPGs within a week. We need at least like 2 weeks to finish one of them.
You're killing us.
You're literally killing us and our wallets. And then Rebirth came out like at the end of February. It's like, guys, you're not making Balatro here. You're making JRPGs.
By the way, speaking of you're killing me here, RGG Studios, it was so funny the way that they had their announcement set up.
No, I laughed because I saw, I made a tweet about this, but I deleted it because it sounded like I was spoiled or greedy. I was like, 2 RGG announcements and neither of them are Yakuza, which in hindsight I was like, why did I tweet that? That was cringe. Because they announced new Virtual Fighter, which I did not see coming at all.
Oh no, the least surprising news ever, because they either leaked.
That's me.
Like, they either leaked the PC version of 5 coming finally. Like, it was a thing of like, they've been trying to bring back Virtual Fighter for like the last 10 years, but without making another game. So it's like,
well, it's just me like not really paying attention to or not thinking about Virtual Fighter.
That's true.
And also,
most people do.
I had an Obi-Wan Kenobi moment where I was like, now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. So yeah, there was that, and then Project Century, which again, my first reaction was, it's not a Yakuza, which again sounds incredibly greedy on my part, and I fully admit that, because we had Infinite Wealth. I mean, hell, just in 2023 they put out Ishin and Gaiden, and then they gave us Infinite Wealth this year, and then in just like 6 weeks we're getting, or like 8 weeks, whatever, we're getting Like a Pirate. I honestly forget that Pirate Yakuza. That title
Like a Pirate. It should be called Like a Pirate.
I honestly thought it was Like a Pirate. That title's a mess. I never remember it. But we're getting a Majima Pirate game very soon. So I don't know. I guess I'm just too Yakuza pilled. So whenever I hear that bung and I see RGG, I'm expecting, Yakuza. But when I actually took a step back from that and actually looked at Project Century, I was like, oh, they're cooking. They are fucking cooking.
I don't know. Am I in the wrong to say I looked at Project Century as just the next true Yakuza?
I mean, it could be anything. I mean, they just called it Project Century.
I don't know. Like, I guess just because of like what it is, and especially with the team and how it kind of looks like, I think especially kind of where they're at, I'm expecting we'll still get more Ichiban's story for sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
But at the same time, I think like if they wanted to have like a Yakuza minus 100 moment, that Project Century would be a good way to like, let's do something really out there.
Yeah.
And have a fresh starting point. Because I think especially with how drastic Yakuza 7 and 8 were and how big they are, I think a lot of people are kind of like, okay, well, I clearly have to either start with 7 or 0, and there's a lot of game I got to play here.
Yeah, you really shouldn't start with 7 because, well, I mean, 7 works fine for the most part as a standalone. But you're gonna miss out on you're still gonna miss out on quite a bit. Especially because you cannot like you can play 7, you cannot go from 7 to 8 because Ichiban is only like half of what 8 is about. The other half is Kiryu, and there is a lot of history that you kind of need to know about to fully appreciate. But I think for me the thing about Project Century, the theory I see or I saw on Twitter was that it's gonna be like maybe like the origins of the Tojo clan or something like that. So I don't know if that's gonna be like a direct link. I don't know if they're gonna do like the Yakuza 0 route of like it's a prequel, but it's like, there's direct like ties to what happens later. Or it could just like be its like own standalone spin-off that like what's the shoot? It's like another Judgment, basically.
That was the thing I was gonna put out there. I will find it so funny if this ends up being Lost Judge. Well, I guess Judge Eyes 3.
Judgment 3.
I will fucking lose my mind.
I highly doubt.
I would love more. I would love more Judgment.
I would love more Judgment too. I'm waiting for Judgment 3, but I doubt Project Century is that. But
well,
I think
also, Lost Judgment sold like trash. That game sold really bad.
Unfortunately, yeah. I remember I got the deluxe like version with like all the DLC for like $20. Which, ouch. And that was only like because like Lost Judgment came out like late 2021. I got it, no joke, like shoot, because I moved. That was literally just a few months later. So like it was because it was before I moved out of my college apartment and into my last one, where we had the last podcast. So that would have been like, so because I moved there in October 2022, and I already beat Lost Judgment. So yeah, so really I got the complete like deluxe version like just a few months after, or like maybe like 6 months after it came out.
Yo man, I'm just telling you right now. I remember I bought Lost Judgment day 1 because of the pre-order bonus. It was a super, super limited steelbook for Lost Judgment. It's actually like a really clean design, but I remember how quickly the price dropped on that game, and I remember being like, God damn, man, like I could have waited probably, but then I was like, I thought about it, I was like, that steelbook though was like really hard to get even if you pre-ordered it. And then here's the funny thing, I was like, I should look up and see how rare is that steelbook. The only listings for it right now on eBay, you can get it a little bit cheaper if people are listing it and don't know what it is. But what's kind of funny about it is the only active listings for it right now are over $140.
Oh God.
It is not worth that much. Like people have put it up and I have bought it for around, I see as low as like 30 and as high as 70 over the last year, but it is really funny that the only listings are like outrageously expensive.
That's such a shame. But all that to say, I'm very excited for Project Century. Whatever it ends up.
You know what, Project Century though, especially because like it gives Yakuza vibes, but it doesn't look like Yakuza. You know what it gives me vibes of? It gives me Sleeping Dog vibes.
I could see that. I could see that for sure.
Especially with like honestly, the weapons.
Another game I thought of. Well, I didn't think of Sleeping Dogs, but another game I thought of, God Hand.
Ooh, yeah, no, that is a good one. That would be good.
I don't know, just for some reason, like the fighting made me think of God Hand.
I I don't. There's not as much we can really say about this one with it, but I'd be curious, especially because we talked about this. Did the Borderlands 4 trailer like not miss for you, but did it kind of just feel like there was like I felt like I should have been more excited about that trailer.
Honestly, that trailer went in one ear and was straight out the other.
Like I love Borderlands 3. I played the fuck out of Borderlands 3, and I didn't even hate on it as much as most people, but it was just really funny. Like watching it, I thought the teaser trailer over the summer was interesting, and I was like, oh well, let's see where they're gonna go with the franchise. And then when I saw it was just more Borderlands 3, I was like, well, I don't mind that. Like I even played Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I really liked that game too. But it was just kind of weird of just like I think for how quickly this game is coming out, obviously they didn't want to wait as long as they did from 2 to 3. And Lord knows they didn't want to have another Battleborn.
Well, hey, you forgot the pre-sequel. How could you forget the pre-sequel?
I do love the pre-sequel. I was so late to that game, but holy fuck, when I finally played the pre-sequel, I was like, this is fucking fantastic. I love the pre-sequel.
I really enjoyed it. For me, Borderlands 3, I remember liking it when I played it, like in the moment, but in the end, I felt like, I don't know. I don't think it was really worth that wait. So like, I only played it through the one time. Whereas like Borderlands 2, I could probably like recite, like beat for beat every single thing that happens, like even the side quests. But I could tell you very little about 3, like or what happens in it. Which is a shame because I was like so excited for it, but it just took so long to come out that by the end I was like, eh. And then when Tiny Tina's Wonderlands came out, I didn't even blink at it.
That's a game that is like dirt cheap right now. I will say at least if you're like a even morbidly interested fan of Borderlands and like fantasy RPGs, it's fun. It's at least worth a run through. It's one of those weird things though of ironically they put so much into the game. It's got like the most opposite problem of any Borderlands game. Of Borderlands, even if they're not all really good, usually had pretty solid DLC.
Yeah.
Borderlands Tiny Tina is really funny. It is universally agreed upon it has the worst season pass of all time. Every DLC was just a random roguelite arena with no actual story. There was like no story levels, no content. They put the main game felt like they put in like all the season pass story into one thing. And it was so funny because I remember like I bought the big like $100 launch edition of the game when it came out to get the season pass because I was like, I buy every Borderlands game, I always buy the season pass edition because the season pass is always worth it. Like there's always at least one or two of the expansion campaigns that are worth running through. And I remember every time the DLC came out for Wonderlands, it was like, wow. Like normally if like one or two of them are bad, it's whatever. They were all afterthoughts. It was so funny. It was like, how were they all bad? And it was because they put all of the story into the game. There was no story left to be DLC.
It kind of reminds me of do you remember the Saints Row 4 expansion Get Out of Hell?
Oh, I loved it.
I love Get Out of Hell.
I loved Get Out of Hell. It's not perfect, but it was fun.
But they had like that one joke where I can't remember like the context exactly, but they had like a joke where you have like Johnny Gat and Jim Boone like trying to figure out like the story beat, but it's like, oh, we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, because the big inside joke was originally Get Out of Hell was supposed to just be DLC, but they needed a new game to release, so they forced it into being its own game.
Yeah, so they basically had to just like bloat it as much as they could. Well, bloat is probably the wrong word, but they just had to shove in as much stuff as they could. And none of it was real story.
That.
Yeah.
That is really funny. Yeah, but Borderlands 3, it's weird. I watched that trailer. I felt no feelings. I wasn't disappointed. But Borderlands 4, like I watched it and I was like, I will still play this game, but I have no, like, it was just, it left me in a weird spot of like, how do you watch something like this with no reaction, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I
I
feel
can't
like
tell you why. I don't know why.
I mean, I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it exactly why, but like I said, I still love Borderlands 2. Like even like uh just restarting my playthrough, I was like, oh yeah, this is bringing back like some good memories. Um, but I that might change later. I just as of right now, I just have no desire to go back to 3, to play 3 again, or its DLCs. I don't know if I'll try Tiny Tina's Wonderland. And and for 4, I don't know. I guess we'll wait. I guess I'll wait and see like how it looks. See more gameplay. See did they didn't put out a release date, did they?
No, my guess is it'll probably be summer before GTA, but like probably a month or two, like August, September.
Oh yeah,
Um,
God help any games that that have to share the release month with
well,
GTA 6.
ironically, it's all Take-Two, so they're still making money either way. It's like, oh no, our other
Yeah,
game cannibalized our other game.
well, yeah, that's Take Two, but what about other publishers?
Oh no, yeah, they're all fucked. If you're not Take-Two, you're fucked next year.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Borderlands 4, like I said, the trailer, I honestly I've already forgotten it. Like what happens, and I still remember like just the teaser and seeing like Randy Pitchford like come out. Which is fun. I like Randy Pitchford. He's a weird dude. I kind of like him. But yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling really lukewarm so far on Borderlands 4. Like again, maybe that'll change later on, but as of right
I mean,
now, take it or leave it.
I could see it change when we either know more about the story. A big thing about Borderlands 2 is also like the heroes. I think like once we kind of get to the point of like we know what the classes are, we know how they're gonna play, we might know how it like ties in. I think that also could like be a case of like helping it out a little bit with it. So
Yeah.
hopefully we get more stuff like that. Um, for it, but
I
yeah,
kind of like to I kind of like to see the past instead of like new characters, new playable characters. I kind of like to see like the past, just them bring back like some of the past like characters.
I
Um,
mean, that's what I liked about 3. I liked they brought Krieg back. They had I mean, even in this one 4, there's like the like grown up version of Zane. I thought that was cool.
oh, that's cool.
So optimistic, but yeah, just very weird for a series that like I have sunk so many hours into for me to
Yeah,
be like new Borderlands, and it's like cool. What do you think? And I'm like, I can't tell you.
yeah. I mean, it's probably worse for me because I've like obviously not 3, but like 1, 2, and even pre-sequel, I've like sunk so many hours of playthroughs into those. Hell, even like probably like I've sunk as many hours into Borderlands 2 as I have 1 and pre-sequel combined. And just now they announced Borderlands 4, and I'm just like, shrug.
You know, ironically though, the announcement trailer, well, not the announcement trailer, the gameplay trailer did tell me this though. I was like, you know what I own and I still need to play? I've still not booted up New Tales. I love Tales of the Borderlands. I
I
gotta play New Tales.
Oh, same. I have I love the Tales from the Borderlands. I keep forgetting New Tales exists.
I that one was one of like, and it's funny because like everyone I know who's played it is like, oh no, it's good. It's not as good as the first one, but it's definitely worth playing. The funny thing
Yeah,
about New Tales is like it just came out at the worst time. It was like it came out at like a really busy, like I think it was like 2021 or 2022. It was just like there were a bajillion games coming out that fall. It just came out at like the worst time.
honestly, 2022 actually.
Damn, wild.
I'm like, yeah, like I said, I if you could like tell we had this conversation, you could like tell me tomorrow. It's like, hey, do you know Tales New Tales from the Borderlands? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, the game exists.
I think we pretty much are at it. I want to give two medium-sized shout-outs
Hmm.
to Split Fiction,
Oh yes,
the
I
new Joseph Ferris game.
I didn't catch a lot of the I didn't catch a lot of trailer of that trailer because like I said, I was working with an earbud, so I was more listening than watching. But the little that I did see of that trailer, I was like, oh, this looks pretty dope. I'm excited. I'm interested in this.
Yeah, I was really into that. I thought that looked great. I mean, I'm not surprised. Like that team, like he said, they haven't missed. Like every game that team has come out is like, wow, you guys just keep really fucking shit up. I don't know how you guys keep doing it this good,
Well,
but
well, a way out's kind of eh.
I like
It's fun. It's
like
fun for sure. But I really want to play It Takes Two, but I just don't have a second player.
I have it here. If you ever want to play, we can play online together.
Fuck yeah! All right, I'm done.
I think it's crossplay. I'll double check. What did you think of Dispatch? I weirdly found myself interested in that game way more than I thought I would. I love the premise.
Remind me, Dispatch, was that the Aaron Paul
Yes.
game? Yeah. I didn't really know what to make of this. Again, this was another case of like seeing only like bits and pieces of the trailer. I didn't really know what to make of it, but the little that I saw, I was like, okay, I'm not sure what this is, but I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, it's narratively plays like a Wolf Among Us, Tales of the Borderlands like. It's made by that team, with bits of like sim management of you're the one placing superheroes on dispatch calls to specific appointments and jobs and like emergency requests. So I want to see a little bit more, but like visually and like budget wise, I was like, man, Jeffrey Wright, Aaron Paul, for some fucking reason, Jacksepticeye, Moist Critical, but like a lot of but like a lot of really good fucking talent in that game, looking good. And the fact that, by the way, it's not like, oh hey, we got Aaron Paul and he's like some dude. Like no, like he's the main dude. I was like, I'm in, man. This looks great.
I mean, again, I just think back to Laura Bailey just roasting Aaron Paul. So fun. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in that one too.
Do you have any feelings on Mafia?
Oh yes. Oh, Mafia: The Old Country. I am so excited.
So what's funny
I remember when they announced that at that was Summer Game Fest, I think. My first thought before it was revealed that it was Mafia, I thought, "Oh, new Wolfenstein, let's go!" And then it turned out, no, it's Mafia, and I was like, "Oh, that's also really cool." But I just want to see so much more of Mafia: The Old Country, because I loved the first two games. 3 is good, but the first two games, and I don't mean like the remaster or the remake of the first game. I played it on the original Xbox when I had one of those. Never finished it, unfortunately. My
Mafia 1 was long.
Well, my younger self couldn't get past the race car section in that original game. But yeah, I was able to get through it in the remake though. But yeah, I love 1 and 2, and I love like most of 3. I just think 1 and 2 have like such really good stories.
I love the setting of 3. 3's got a great setting.
No, the setting of 3 for sure. And just I also like the presentation, like how it was like documentary style. And as a music geek, the licensed soundtrack that they had, it felt like pandering, honestly, to my music brain. But yeah, I'm very excited for The Old Country. I just want to see like more gameplay, or any gameplay.
I'm curious, and I didn't realize I had a fellow Mafia freak with me here. Are you excited or worried now that it looks like it's not open world? There's a press release that came out for it.
Yeah.
The game is described as a linear narrative, so like it might just be a level to level type game, and I'm like, half of me is like, all right,
I'm fine
That
with that.
sounds good. Just because, as much as I love Mafia, no Mafia fan has ever told anyone else, "Oh yeah, I love the open world in Mafia."
Unless we're talking about 3, which actually was built to be like an actual like sandbox game, or at least more so than 1 and 2. 1 and 2, uh, they aren't open world games. They have an open world in them, but you wouldn't call them open world games.
Mhm. It's
Um,
it's like how you would never call LA Noire an open world game.
no, even though it also technically has an open world in it. Um, which, oh man, LA Noire, love that game. But yeah, if they just come out like and straight up say, yeah, Mafia the Old Country, it's not open world at all. It's gonna be very linear. It's like, you know what? Go for it. You never did, aside from 3, you never really did open world that well anyway. So if you're just gonna be like, all right, linear it is, I'm very excited to see how it turns out.
Um, we talked about Okami 2. Really, all we
Yeah,
can say is thank fucking God it's happening, and the fact
I
that
can't believe
Clover.
it's happening, honestly.
Well, what's funny is I can believe Okami 2 is happening. The fact that they brought back the original developer is crazy.
Yeah,
Like, not only is it Kamiya is back as director, it is literally Clover Studio is back. That's what's crazy.
I feel like at this I feel like at this point, like we got the Silent Hill 2 remake, we got Persona 3 remake, we got Metaphor finally came out. Like at this point, it seems like we got Alan Wake 2 after 13 years. I feel like at this point anything's possible. So you know what? If Okami 2 is next on that list, I welcome it.
Um, Big fan of Onimusha. Am glad that that's there. Also, am curious to learn more just because I'm curious how much it will actually tie into the other ones. Did you ever play any of the older Onimusha games?
I have no experience with Onimusha.
It's worth checking out. There's a remaster they did on Xbox of the first game.
Yeah,
It's super super cheap, but also at the same time is kind of one of those weird ones where it's like yeah, I want to learn more, but I mean the fact that it's happening is good enough for me. The only other one that I wanted to put out there is how funny is it, like with all these announcements and other crazy things that they announced for this game, that like as much as I love From Software, I have not once mentioned there's a new
Elden
Elden
Ring.
Ring coming out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not a FromSoft guy or a Souls guy at all. So I was like, yeah, that just like left my brain immediately.
It was just weird because it's like I'm not even like against the idea of like a roguelike Elden Ring From Souls online live service game. It's just very weird of like I think it's cool, but I mean, I haven't even beaten Elden Ring, let alone started Erdtree, that I'm like a online live service version of Elden Ring. I don't even know if I like have the time for. My thing I am curious about with it, I think it's an interesting premise. I will be curious if you can still play it by yourself single player, because I do like playing roguelike games by yourself, but it clearly seems very live service multiplayer kind of focused.
Hmm.
So I'd be kind of curious with it, but I think that game will do huge. There's like no way that game would fail unless it really fucked up somewhere. But weird get, but still it's from Soft. It's a new from Soft game. Like I'm sure it'll be great.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what else will be great?
What?
When I get to go to bed tonight, because we've been recording for 3+
12:30.
hours. Liam, do you have anything else you want to talk about for the Game Awards before we wrap this show up?
Well, this just popped into my mind. I was at first very excited, and then immediately like very let down because like, oh, I saw a trailer for Rebirth, and I thought, oh, is Final Fantasy finally coming to Xbox? And no, it's just the PC port. I was like, oh,
I feel like Remake will eventually come, although it may not be till like
they finished the.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be like legitimately, it might be like a 2028 thing before you see him on Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm still they. Honestly, I'm still kind of waiting for 16 because I am
Yeah, that's a good
curious
point.
because
I feel like 16 you will definitely see sooner than remake.
yeah. Um. Also, at the same time, they announced Last of Us 2 remastered PC port, and I'm like, just let it die already. Which
I
thankfully they
mean
did
that
with Intergalactic.
that
Quote
one
unquote.
was a weird one of like, so the deal with that one is Last of Us Part 2 has been done for a while, and ironically that's a 2024 game. So we got that in January
Oh my
of
God, you're
this
right.
year. But the PC port's been done since PS5 release. They've just been holding on to it because it was
Because
like,
the show.
maybe it's weird because the season two's not even coming out anytime soon. It's next year, but it's not like it's January. So it's kind of odd of like, maybe they're just trying to tease it out to get closer to the show. But yeah, that was
That's
a
my
weird one
thought.
of like, we knew it was gonna happen, but yeah, it's that was definitely a wet fart of an announcement.
Yeah. Although I am glad they kind of like were able to steer the ship back with Intergalactic at the end. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
no, yeah. If that was the only Naughty Dog news, that would have definitely sucked up a lot of fucking oxygen.
that would that would have been yeah a big bummer. But yeah, no, like aside from that, yeah, like just to overall to recap, I this was a solid show from announcement standpoint. The awards, I think were for the most part went to the right winners, and yeah, just overall just better presentation, and yeah, thumbs up for Jeff.
Good job,
I was
Jeff.
very I was very I was very cynical. You'll probably remember um around the time they did they announced the nominees. I was like, oh, Game Awards. But nah, kudos to Jeff. He did good this year.
Well, until we get Jeff on the podcast, I
And
unfortunately
friend
will
of the
have to.
show.
Yeah, well, I will unfortunately have to end the show because, oh my God, I am
Yeah,
hilariously tired. Although, you know what, I'm saying that. I will probably still bring the computer into the bed with me just so I can start this edit process, even though I know I will definitely not finish it. But Liam, thank you for talking with me for way too long,
that was
and
fun.
it was a blast talking with you. Next time we'll just have to like pick, like we'll go through like every video game from 2009 and talk about it for an hour.
All right. My here's my suggestion for the next topic. Yeah, you and I do. We just go through like the list of games that were released every year from whatever year we start to like 1999 or whatever, and then we just pick like the five best games, our top five games of that year.
That would just ironically just end up being its own podcast at that point.
True. Like every episode is a different year.
Well,
All right,
uh,
Spencer, thank you.
no, well, hey, before we get out of here,
Oh
we
yeah.
gotta let people know where they can find more of you and listen to more of you. Where have you been? What have you been playing? What have you been covering recently?
So cover wise, I've kind of slowed down this past couple weeks. I think burnout was just starting to set in, so I'm not really. I mean I have covers I need to record, but I just haven't really had the motivation. So I think for the rest of the year, I might just post some covers that I like previously recorded, but just haven't. I kind of saved for a rainy day when I didn't feel like making new ones. Because usually I would like record a new one. So I have the Max Payne theme. I'll probably post that. I have a song from Alan Wake. I won't say which one. It's not Herald of Darkness, sadly.
I was like, is it, as long as it's not Herald of Darkness, I will be shocked.
I will be do I will be doing Herald of Darkness at some point.
With the
But
dance.
sure, I'll probably post that separately. But yeah, cover wise, yeah, slowing down. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm gonna post tomorrow. But I've been posting since we started doing the move over to Bluesky, I've kind of been posting. One, I've been posting my covers on YouTube because Bluesky has this thing where you can't post videos that are like, I think 50 megabytes or bigger than 50 megabytes in storage. And unfortunately,
dude,
most of my covers
your
way past
covers
that.
your covers are too big to skeet. I can't skeet out your covers that big.
So, but the nice thing is that on Bluesky you can embed YouTube videos, and just play them right there. So I've been
okay.
I've been posting my videos on YouTube and then posting them on Bluesky and then doing a little quote retweet on Twitter saying, "Hey, it's on YouTube now." So I've been doing that. Otherwise, yeah, I'm still active on Twitter now and then. I actually tweeted earlier. I was like, I really need like everyone, all my moods to move over to Bluesky because I don't want to be on Twitter anymore. But yeah, Twitter, Bluesky at Liam Omega. I think I have the underscore for Twitter, but no underscore for Bluesky. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all my plugs.
So I'll make mine quick. First PSA, do not forget the Atlus Awards. You've got, holy shit, this is like the last half a week left. So by the time this episode goes up, you will have 7 days left to vote. The 22nd is going to be the cutoff, so you'll have 7 days left to vote for the Atlus Awards. Big shout out to, big shout out to everybody who has been spamming all the awards and all the responses. I've gotten a nice little rebump again. I did a kind of like PSA video and didn't want to spam it out too much, but sharing it definitely does help. I'll have the link be in the show notes for this episode. Besides that, don't forget there's the Facebook group, Twitter, Bluesky, YouTube. And besides that, the Patreon, if you want to support the show, get it a little bit early, or if you want to be an executive producer, you can go to patreon.com/SMTN. And big shout out, as always, to our executive producers at the $5 and up tier. So big thanks to John Massey, Crazy Sloth, Michael Wilson, Budweiser Tall Cans, Carlos Hernandez, Cross Renren, Winnie, Jagingus, Goro Cero, Solaire, Stephen Yip, and Patrick Dishart. Thank you all so much for all your awesome support.
I just have one more thing to plug.
Yeah, please.
So I started a Ko-Fi, or being more active on Ko-Fi, and I'm doing commissions, or I opened up commissions for covers, so people can like suggest a song from a game, or even just like a song. I don't know, My Chemical Romance or Linkin Park or whatever. Just suggest.
Can you do the entire opening theme song to Twin Peaks for me, please?
I mean, go to my Ko-Fi. Give me a tip, and yeah, it's like it's kind of like a, just pretend I'm a musician in a bar, and just like I'll play whatever you want as long as you give me a little tip. Within reason. I'm not gonna play like Through the Fire and the Flames.
Damn it! I was like, is Through the Fire and the Flames like the furry porn of donations for music?
You know what? If you give me a tip and suggest Through the Fire and the Flames, I will try. I will at least try and play it, because I actually can play I actually can play a little bit of it, not to
Your
brag.
cover should just be you playing it on easy Guitar Hero.
Or just like I start with a regular guitar and then I just fade and just end up playing it on a Guitar Hero controller. But yeah, so anyway, I have a Ko-Fi. I don't really know. Well, we don't really have links, and I don't really know like what it is. But yeah, just Liam Omega. I'm on Ko-Fi if you want to.
Yeah, I'll throw it in the. I've got your Ko-Fi link here. I'll just I'll throw it in the show notes so people can find it that way.
Just have a little tip jar. So yeah, if you want me to cover a song, just shoot me a little tip and I'll make something happen.
Sweet.
Also give me a song, and also give me a song too. I can't just like, I'm not gonna like, because if you just like leave a tip and don't suggest a song, I'm just gonna play Wonderwall or something.
I said maybe.
You're gonna be the one that saves me.
Thank you. Well, speaking of musical puns, it's been
1 week
almost
since
a
you looked
week
at me.
since I looked at you, but we got to get the fuck out of here
All
and
right.
go to bed. Liam, thank you for talking with me for way too long.
Thanks for
Everyone,
having
thank you
me.
so much for listening. Jeff, keep bringing those Muppets on stage. Just keep doing it. Don't listen
Sam
to the
Lake.
haters.
Sam Lake never change.
Oh yeah, also Sam Lake, you have to come every year, even if there's nothing. Although we all know next year he will be there and he will announce something Control related, or if I'm a very lucky boy, please
Max Payne.
show off the Max Payne remake.
Yeah.
But yes, we're gonna get out of here. Everyone, thank you again for listening. We will be back next week with another lovely episode for all of you. So have a good rest of your night. Goodbye.
Good night.